Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Tim, I'm so sorry that Speedstorm got delayed, man.
It's all right. I got plenty to play.
It's okay. Chicken Wiggle's getting delayed too, as is AEW Fight Forever.
Can it really get
They just
delayed
haven't
if it never
announced it
had a
yet.
release?
I will
Can it
survive.
be delayed again if it never had a release date from the last delay?
Chicken Wiggle can't get delayed. It's undelayable at this point. It's as undelayable as Thanos is inevitable. No. Shoot.
You okay?
Almost lost my candy.
Oh, I can't lose that. He said shoot. He didn't say a bad word. Come on.
Oh, I did it. I did that because he made a Thanos.
Okay. I gotcha. All right, you guys ready? I'll do this while Marty's chewing his chocolate. All right,
Hey,
here we go.
Yakko Warner's in the chat.
Yeah, he was here when I was doing the stream before.
Can he sing the state song?
3, 2. Welcome to Nintendo Dads, episode 404. And no, that is not a reference to Page Not Found. Recorded on December 1st, 2022. On tonight's episode, we talk about free games in December. Nintendo wants you to know it knows. Why Monster Hunter is a cheater. And yes, I'm calling it a cheater. And your questions. Jesse, you know what to do.
Hey, what's up, everybody? You're listening to Nintendo Dads, episode 404. Nintendo Dads is a weekly podcast from a dad bod perspective. Nintendo news, reviews, and previews brought to you by dads for everyone. You don't have to be a dad to listen to Nintendo Dads. You just have to love a dad. Like us. We're lovable. We're cuddly. It's December 1st, 2022. Not joining us on the show tonight, Mr. Justin Masson, and we want to extend a get well soon to Mr. Masson. He appeared on our pre-show for our $10 patrons. And if you guys have not heard that, he was like, when he said earlier today, I'm sick, I was like, man, baby. Then I heard him and saw him, and I was like, oh gosh, you need to go to bed. It's time. Right? You need to go. I gave him some fine advice. I gave him the same fine advice that I give everyone who's sick. And that is, if you feel bad, go take a shower. Just take a hot shower. You'll feel
amazing
better.
What a shower can do for you.
That's right. I mean, it doesn't matter. Like when I'm sick, I'll shower 6 times a day. I don't care.
Also, he got to talk to us.
I'll get all dried out and pruny and.
Well, he got to talk to us, so he should feel better now too.
That's right. That's right. I mean, the healing properties of friendship.
Yes.
Have now. Tomorrow he'll wake up. Everything will be good, and he will have his cutie mark. We don't want to see that. Mecca will get that. Anyway, joining me on the show tonight, Mr. Tim Off. How's it going, buddy?
It's been something else lately, especially with work and everything, because it's like everybody's. Even though if you work in any kind of development, usually there's a development freeze. That doesn't mean anything where I'm at. So there is a development freeze, but everybody's trying to clean up everything and all that kind of stuff. So. It's really busy.
We could change the song. It's beginning to look a lot like stress.
Yes, exactly.
Everywhere you go.
It is. That is. I like
Jesse,
that.
you're experiencing this stress?
Well, I'm not. We are in system freeze where I work. It started 3 weeks ago, and our last release was like the 3rd week October. So while we can't change anything in production, but we can still do development and testing to prepare for early 2023.
Cool. That's Mr. Jesse Waldack also joining us on the show tonight. Just threw it over to him preemptively.
And I also don't want to see Justin's cutie mark.
What do you think it would be? Let's just talk. Let's have a little around the horn.
We had
here.
that discussion before. That was a question, and we
I know
came up with a moose.
Do you think now that you've met him, do you think it would change?
No, it's totally going to be Canadian. It's going to be like a Canadian maple leaf on there, and maybe some drips of maple syrup on it.
I was thinking maybe like a piece of Canadian bacon, which the rest of the world calls ham.
Yes.
And syrup and a maple leaf. Yeah, I mean it's there.
Of course, I
It's
think
there.
it would make a really good cutie mark is our outlines that we have on our different plaques and such. I think that would make a good.
I like that. I like that. Yeah, I would with the belt and all that.
Yes.
Hey, I hung mine up this week
Nice.
here in my office. I was doing
Yep,
some
mine's
cleaning.
right there. Mine's right
But
there.
yeah, there it is. And the belt. Look at
And
there.
the belt is right there behind me.
You get
Yep.
to keep it for a few more weeks.
I get a few more weeks with it.
That's right. That's right. You should, I don't know, maybe take some photos with it to commemorate the time that you had, the good times that you shared
I'm gonna
together.
take it out on a date and everything.
Right. Yeah, take it to Dairy Queen. I don't know. I don't know.
I'll share some ice cream with it.
Right. Of course. Well, here's what we want to do, guys. We want to share some news, and we've got a full show tonight. Lots going on in the world of Nintendo this week, including updates and admissions of needed updates and all kinds of other things that Tim's already alluded to. So let's dive straight into the news, shall we? And our news is brought to us each and every week by you guys over at patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. We want to encourage you to head over and join up and become a patron of the show if you haven't. Maybe you are a longtime listener and you haven't become a patron and gotten access to the Discord yet, or maybe you were a patron at one time and something had to change for a while, but we want to invite you to come back. And if you come in and you become a patron of the show and you decide to sign up for a yearly payment, you get a month free. You get a month free. Patreon and us, we love you enough to have that happening. So you can head over to patreon.com /Nintendo Dads. One of the things we already referred to on earlier, just a few minutes ago in the show, is that we do have a pre-show and a post-show each week where we talk about whatever. This week on the topic list, we talked about these Lent snickerdoodle truffles that I have in my office. We talked about Avatar and how much it sucks because it's a terrible movie. We also talked about all the deluge of movie trailers that we saw today. So if you want to hear us talk about things like that, as well as talk about, hey, we need to schedule this post or whatever. And I want to say this.
What's the name of the episode? That comes in post show.
Yeah, that's always in post show. I want to say this. If you are a Patreon member of Nintendo Dad's Patreon, each week we do a Nintendo Dad's weekly update where we talk about topics for the show. We talk about, or we try to list all of our YouTube videos and things that have come out that week, like Let's Plays and unboxings and different things like that. We list out for you upcoming releases, and we put things that are on the Switch in bold so you can go and know everything that's coming out. And we ask for your questions and your comments and things like that. And we would love for you to interact with those posts, but I have to apologize because this week's update, I just found out right before we went on the air, did not post this week because of some kind of weird Patreon shenanigans. It says it was set to post December 1st at 11 a.m. Well, when I discovered it was 10 after 9 and it still hadn't posted. So if you read those and you look forward to those and you didn't get one this week, I'm sorry. I did put a lot of work into it and I'm kind of ill at Patreon. So I sent them a very tersely worded text.
Ooh,
a tweet.
They're in trouble.
They are in trouble. Get your crap together, Patreon. Your new redesign sucks. And anyway, I don't know, man. I've got a lot of energy really tonight. It's probably I drank some coffee before I came here and I got jazzed up and fired up, ready to go and dive it. Look, hey, hang on. We're living large over here with
I'm drinking our staple drink that we had during Extra Life.
Listen,
yeah,
I've got to say
that drink wasn't compatible with me after all.
It knocked him out. Here's the thing. If you're listening to the audio version of this, you're not gonna understand this. You're not gonna get it. But I've got to say it. Tim is really freaking me out that you're wearing a beanie and not a hat with a bill on it. All right, there's a limit, son. And we've reached it. Like
this is when it gets cold weather hat. This is my.
What are the other hats for?
The other hats are just because I like wearing hats. This one keeps my ears warm.
It's a great hat. I love it. Love the hat. Yeah.
This is the same hat that. The Nintendo Guru had is the
okay.
Zelda one.
Okay.
So,
look, we'll give you a pass.
We both had the same hat. I just have to flip it around and then you can see
I like that. It does. I was going to ask, it kind of looked for a minute like it had a little bill, but it doesn't.
No.
Maybe
you just hit my glasses weird.
Maybe you can get someone to sew one on there so the world is right. Diving into the news, let's talk about some major things this week. I want to dive into this one first because it's probably the biggest news from this week, and that is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet have created a huge hubbub. And I think it was after the show last week, and Jesse, you can correct me if I'm wrong, after the show last week, when Justin did his solo show, that we got the sales numbers, right, for 3 days, or was that before?
That was known
during the show.
Yeah, I think that was released while he was recording it. He recorded it Wednesday.
Okay. So just for reiterate, if you didn't listen to last week's show, 10 million copies of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet sold in 3 days. Also this week, Nintendo confirmed that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is their fastest selling game of all time. Fastest selling Nintendo, I guess, published game, or first party game. I mean, there's argument about whether it's first party or not, but anyway, it is. The other part of the big hubbub is yes, it's a sales juggernaut, right? But it came out terribly broken. I don't think there's anybody who has played Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and gone, wow, what a technical marvel this game is. I mean, Jesse and I were just talking about it before the show about how there have literally been times where we've rotated the camera and felt like throwing up. And I don't know if that's because we're old and it just seems like it strains my eyes to look at it as it's in motion.
Yeah, because my hand does something with a controller. My brain says the game should be doing this. The game does not do this, and therefore it says, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And then my stomach says, okay, that feels like it's nausea.
That's the official sound for what that is. Well, anyway, in an uncharacteristic statement for Nintendo, they released a kind of a, yeah, we get it statement today, as well as an updating Pokemon Scarlet and Violet both to 1.1.0. Included in this update are some things that probably were already coming to begin with, like Season 1 of Ranked Battles kicking off in the Battle Stadium. They also say that other select bug fixes have been made, as well as an issue that fixed or an issue that caused music not to play during battles with the Elite Four and the top champion. But then they also said this in the tweet and in a statement released with the patch, or news of the patch, actually. This came out on Wednesday. It said, "We are aware that players may encounter issues that affect the game's performance. Our goal is always to give players a positive experience with our games, and we apologize for the inconvenience. We take the feedback from players seriously and are working on improvements to the games." Tim, I'm going to throw this to you just real quick, just with this question. How uncharacteristic is it for Nintendo to make a statement like this regarding an update?
Very uncharacteristic, especially no matter how much people have cried about past games having issues. I don't remember ever a time Nintendo coming out and saying, "Oh, we're going to work on a fix for that." I don't ever remember that.
Even when Switch Sports actually had their server shut down for a few days.
Yeah.
They didn't make a statement like this.
Yeah, this is the first time I've seen them say, we're listening, we're working on something. Yeah. Or, we take the feedback seriously and we're working on improvements for the game.
Yeah, I mean, I can think of 2 times in the last 12 months, not counting this Pokemon experience, where Nintendo has had to come out and issue a patch after a patch was released that kind of broke the game. One of them was with Nintendo Switch Sports. There was another one that was pretty recent as well, and it's slipping my mind. But for them to come out and say, not only uh, we are aware of issues, but also to say we apologize.
Yes.
This to me is, and I mentioned this to you. I use this
Please
phrase
understand.
in the pre-show with you guys. It is a please understand moment, and we haven't had one of those in a long time. But I also think this is a smoking gun announcement. Like, this is a smoking gun moment. This is Nintendo saying, yeah, it's broken.
Yep.
This is a rare letdown of the guard. It's absolutely PR spin, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like they want positive talk around.
This is the executives in a row at a press conference, head down a table, bowing so far down.
Yeah.
And this is also has to be done because, like, the question Mikey Dreamer had it. He said, "What's the incentive for Nintendo to do this?" Because they sold 10 million copies in 3 days, and the incentive is to do that again. They need to fix this and show that they're going to fix it, because the 10 million copies is everybody is buying it because they wanted to play it. But if it's going to suck, everybody's going to be like, okay, I'm not going to buy the next one.
Yeah, or they're not going to buy the DLC to this one,
or that too. Yeah.
Yeah, and
anything further going
DLC.
forward, anything going forward, people are going to be like, I don't know, they didn't do anything, they didn't, do it right this time, so
they didn't fix it, they didn't care, they rushed it. There's all that's been thrown out. Now, I want to throw this out here. A lot of longtime listeners of the show know I love Sword and Shield, where a lot of people were kind of on it, but I love Sword and Shield because I felt like it simplified Pokemon and got it back to its roots. And as somebody who is not a huge Pokemon fan, like, it was super accessible to me. It felt great. I enjoyed it. I am having fun with Scarlet and Violet. And I think most people are. I think most people that are playing it are not going to argue that it's not a fun game. Yeah. But the problem is that it does not look like it is a next gen game, right? It is so far technically beyond below some people's expectations that it's pulling them out of the game.
It's taken two steps back from Arceus. Arceus didn't have this much problems.
Arceus was gorgeous. Arceus was I didn't have problems with it.
So when
I thought it was awesome.
I loved Arceus, and we'll be talking about our favorite games of the year at another episode, but let's just say that that's in my top list. That's how much I loved it. So what I expect from that, the next Pokemon game after that, should be building off of that to me. Should be building off of what I saw in Arceus, and then the next game should be building off of that. So yeah, Arceus looked beautiful. It had its own problems. We all talked about it, that it did have its own problems. So we expect, though, that, okay, they will build on that and do better in the next version. But to me, graphically, this took 2 steps back. Now, it
looks like a 3DS game.
This like you said, it is still a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun with it. There's still something motivating me to go through the game, which hasn't happened before in other Pokemon games.
But Tim, here I think the issue is this: is like with Arceus, you said, it's like 2 steps forward or 1 step forward and 2 steps back between Arceus and this. I think that reveals that the issue is, and Justin, I know, talked about this on his solo episode, that there used to be a 3-year span between Pokemon, Gen 8, Gen 9, whatever, on and on, like Jesse's always talked about. And if there's ever been somebody who nailed a prediction in a year, it was you this year saying, hey, it's going to be Gen 9. And you were right, because it's 3-year span. Therein lies the issue. We're now getting Pokemon sprawling RPGs, right? With tons of moving parts and characters, one a year. Now,
this isn't even a recent thing. It's been going on for a while.
They've been doing this.
I could probably go back 15 years to have an annual Pokemon game, with the exception of one, and that's when they released Yokai Watch. That was the only
they've
year.
Been doing this.
It's supposed to be the new Pokemon.
It's just the generations that are 3 years apart,
right?
From the mainline stuff. Because
there's always been a remake or a spin-off.
But that's what I'm saying is okay. I think at this point, the way they fix this is, yes, they do patches. They're going to have to patch the crap out of this game to make it better, technically, if they can. The other thing is that if there's a Pokemon game planned for November of next year, axe it. Be done.
If anything,
for next November,
I'll save that thought for my predictions.
Okay.
If anything, and this may go along with Jesse's prediction and maybe even mine if I remember to put it down. If anything, I'm sure they're going to have, like you guys talked about already, the DLC. What they should do, instead of doing something next November and doing DLC in April or March, or like they did before, is actually do the DLC in November. Push that up so that they can concentrate, have the mainline team work on the next thing for 2024.
I think there's something to be said for taking like Pokemon like this, like a mainline Pokemon game, spending 3 years developing a really, really good game, right? And a DLC plan to follow that. And allowing those subsequent other years where Pokemon is not being released to be a time when you highlight your lesser known IPs or less, whatever lower tier IPs, and you elevate those. I'm not just talking about Pokemon. I'm talking about Nintendo in general. You elevate those things, and Kid Icarus Remake is absolutely one of the ones I would say. F-Zero, stuff we haven't seen, instead of pumping 5 or 6 IPs like a cash cow, and I know, again, we're retreading water here that a lot of people have talked about. It's just, I can't think of a game that I've seen have this many problems on release. I guess like a big AAA game like this have problems on release other than like Cyberpunk. And Cyberpunk did eventually get better.
Yeah.
And people kind of cared about it, but like
the Pokemon wasn't that broken.
Yeah. But I'm still
saying it was
saying,
broken, but not Cyberpunk broken.
I'm telling you, it's a high profile release that's broken on launch and did not deliver. I do think
somebody got fired in the quality department for sure.
Oh, I'm sure there's stuff happening right now. We don't know.
I don't necessarily think that, because I'm sure they knew about these bugs. They had to have known about these bugs. It's just that the higher ups said, this needs to go out. I don't care what it looks like. Fix it later.
Yeah, that's the part I'm curious about, is like
QA department has no, and the developers can't,
like Justin mentioned, this is bigger than just a game, obviously, because Pokemon has all of these other things that tie into their new Pokemon that come out, between cards, plushies, merchandise, toys, games, not just video games, but whatever, everything around that,
the merchandise,
all of it.
And when a video game suffers, when the video game is like the core of that franchise, when the game suffers because of all the extra stuff, that's where you've messed up.
Yes.
That's where, imagine the Mario movie comes out in April, right? And it's hype and it's awesome because we've seen the trailer. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit on the show. But the Mario movie comes out and they release a game, and it comes out and it is this broken and buggy, and it makes people feel sick when they're playing it and all kinds of stuff.
That's you guys.
That's unacceptable.
I don't have that problem.
That's unacceptable, right?
Yeah.
Think about how that, and Nintendo would not allow that to happen. So at some point here, there's some kind of chain of commands where something went really wrong. And I guess they just had to say, well, we just got to release it. Like, I guess we got to put it out.
And this is exactly what we've talked about in other games. And when we've seen it released, where we're like, this should have stayed in the oven longer. This is one of those same things. Obviously, there is something much bigger in the back end that happened that they couldn't just delay it. At some point, it went beyond that point where it was like, we've seen it through all these other games where we get the email or the Twitter post or whatever that says, to our fans, we're sorry, we have to delay this game. It needs longer. At some point, Pokemon could not do that because of everything else going on. What that is, I don't know. I'm not an expert in that. To me, in my limited knowledge, it seems like if in July or August, that game is not at a certain point, like there's, project management. If it's not at a certain point, you say this is going to be delayed. And then you have a plan B where other things may come out still in November that are around that. And you kind of lead up to the launch of that new Pokemon game, however long you need to delay it. Maybe it doesn't come out in December. Maybe it just needs another month. Who knows? Or maybe it's a January, February game, but it's very interesting. And again, we'll probably won't see anything happen until it comes out in a book 10 years from now. But it's very interesting to see that this happen and that a choice could not be made to say that the game had to be delayed.
It's something I wanted to bring up last week if I was on, but it wasn't, is a lot of people blew a Switch 2 would fix this issue problem. No, this isn't a hardware problem. This is a software problem. Because if you look back at Arceus, they had models, if it was deep in the background, go at 10 frames a second or 5 frames a second. That's the exact same thing they did here. They just didn't have that flag at about 100 yards away. It was more like 10 yards, which is why when you walk into a city, it's like watching a slideshow.
Yeah, the first time I went to where the gym I'm at now, there's a windmill in the city. It was pathetic. Like, I was like, really?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm okay with something that far away being choppy, because that's just like, that's not hurting me. But with something so close, like I had put a Twitter video out when I first saw the classroom, saw the kids in there rocking in their chair and wiggling their feet at 5 frames a second.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I'm like, I'd like to know if that's been fixed with this. It probably has been.
I will say that I was going to say a minute ago, Jesse and I also, we've downloaded the patch, and I asked him first thing, I said, do you feel like anything's different? And he said, yeah, like I do too. I feel like it moved a little smoother.
Yeah. I think that what I said about 10 yards or 10 meters is when they started to chop it down. They pulled that back.
Yeah.
It's probably 50 or 100 now.
Well,
so yeah, I'm sure that's still there for background components, but for things more closer, that's no longer an issue.
I'm still in wherever the art gym is, like the grass type gym. I haven't gone out on the road from there yet. Like I downloaded it and I booted it up just to see if anything was different right before the show. I want to get out there and do some traveling just to see if it does make it any different.
Yeah. For most of the just the wilderness, I haven't had any issues. The game is great. The biggest issue I had outside of a city was in the northwest section of the map where there's a big lake and small islands. That was like running at 15 frames a second. Ooh. It was like literally half speed. And I asked my son if that happened to him, and he goes, "Oh yeah."
The thing I really hate about this is that they've finally been able to give us what we want, which is like a living world with Pokemon everywhere. Like I love that I'm battling and I can see Pokemon in the background moving around, and hanging out and all
It's
that.
that thing that we saw when we saw Breath of the Wild. Everybody asked for it. They were like, it would be so cool if Pokemon.
Well, they did it.
Wasn't like
it's
this.
just.
I'm going to the school right now, by the way, to see if that changed.
They put they put the wrong kind of gas in the tank. I don't know what to tell you.
And I want to say too, what commenting on what Ebicel said here is basically, the suckers will buy it. And I want to say that you have to remember this game, although we have generations of people who are older now who've played the original and want to play this because of that and are fans of Pokemon because of that, they are going to buy it. This game is meant for kids.
Yeah.
And so us as parents, obviously, if we're not playing it, we're going to be buying it for kids and the kids are going to be playing it and they probably won't care or see those things, or they'll just won't think twice about seeing a pop in or 5 frames per second on a character, so I don't necessarily think this is a suckers will buy it type thing. I disagree with that comment. Essentially, I don't believe it's a suckers. I don't think Pokemon was trying to sell it to suckers. I think it was just, again, a lot of things we can speculate on. We don't know why, but it went out the way it did. And now it's a lesson learned, hopefully, in the future. And we'll see what happens in the next releases.
Yeah. Then going back to that lake in the Northwest, I haven't verified it myself, but Game Explain put out a video saying that while it's not perfect, it is still a lot better than it was.
Okay.
It no longer runs at like half speed.
Here, let's say this: this is not going to be the only update that Nintendo makes to this. The statement literally says we are working on improvements to the game.
Yeah.
Now, how many that is, and what are those improvements going to be? We don't know. I hope it's frame rate, and
maybe they'll have another communication that outlines what that is. Who knows if they'll go that far? But
we know there was a memory leak before where the longer the game's played, the quality just kind of slowly degrades. But if you shut it down, restart it, things are quote unquote normal again. It's the patch has only been out for 4 hours, so I think it's too soon to know if those have been fixed. My guess is they haven't been fixed yet. Those will take longer to find, but at least what we have now is an improvement.
Can I
go ahead?
I want to make maybe a controversial statement here, but it may not be. I think we have to stop giving video game developers a pass on saying other bug fixes have been made.
I want to know what those are.
Like we've had internet connected consoles for long enough. You can't just say we made things more stable.
If I did that at work, I wouldn't have a job. Right. I need to be very specific on what was done.
Stop taking this at face value. I want to know what did you do? Okay, did you make it smoother? Then say that. Did you make it where the draw distance is farther out, like you've been talking about, Jesse? And you explained it in 5 seconds without needing to be technical. Like, just say it and let people dig into that.
Right.
By the way, I can confirm that the students are not moving at 5 frames per second in the classrooms.
Yay.
Okay. Maybe I'll just delete my save and start over. I mean, I've got 2 gym badges and 2 Titans defeated.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far. Keep what you got.
You don't have to do all that.
Well, anyway, the way I play Pokemon is very linear. When I'm done, I'm done. Like, I'm not going back to any of those places and seeing it. Like, all right, I made it to the end and I beat the big thing. I'm done.
I've done the thing.
I did the thing. I got the badges. I did the things. Although this is a different world, so totally different.
In my son's case, he's already got 400 Pokemon. He's completed the dex. He has the shiny charm, and to him, the game is now starting. It's shiny hunting season.
Well, let's talk about another game starting. Let's get off of this.
He's got 2 so far.
Let's talk about Monster Hunter Rise. Now confirmed to come to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One on January 20th. It will be available for Xbox Game Pass.
Cheaters.
We're going to get to you, Tim. I'm going to let you talk all about this. Xbox Game Pass for PC and cloud at launch. Current gen versions will have 4K resolution, 60 frame per second gameplay, and 3D audio, among other customizable options. 3D audio will come to Xbox One version in the spring. The PS5 port will support DualSense haptic feedback for ranged and shielded weapons, and the game will be $39.99 on all platforms, with the Sunbreak expansion to come along at a later date. I think they said March for next gen consoles. Or
is the Switch getting a price cut, or is it going to still be 60?
Probably still 60.
I think
Tim,
it said all consoles will be $40.
Okay. Hey, I may buy this now, even though I hate it. Just add it to the backlog just because. I don't know. Tim, you screamed out cheater.
Cheaters.
And here's the thing. You love Monster Hunter. Let's be honest. You do love Monster Hunter.
Not as much as some people in our community.
Is this another case of Rayman Legends? It's going to be a Wii U exclusive. No, it's not.
I don't remember if they ever said it was going to be an exclusive.
They did. They did. It was
okay.
Like at the first, it was only on Wii U.
No, I mean this game as far as being on the Switch.
Okay, I
don't remember.
Well,
sorry.
Yeah.
Even I don't think, and I think it's probably the right thing to do for publishers is when they sign an exclusivity deal, it isn't for the life of the game. It is limited, 6 months, 12 months.
And also,
we're seeing this more, like Sony's putting games on PC.
I was gonna say there could be like Mikey was saying, a timed exclusive, like you were saying, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, but there could be another that we don't see in contracts where it says it has to meet a certain amount.
I think it was a timed exclusive without saying it was a timed exclusive.
Because I think Rise was on Switch alone still was like the best selling Monster Hunter game.
Yeah, and it's actually really looks good on the Switch too. It's one of those things again where if people develop specifically for the Switch, they know what they're doing. A game can look good, and that's one that looks good.
Looking at you, Game Freak.
Yeah. So, and really, I'm actually really happy that it's coming to the next gen, because I can't wait to see what it looks like on the other systems.
Because you're going to play it again over there, aren't you?
I'm going to try it out because it's coming to Game Pass. So I'm going to try it out and see what it looks like over there. I might not play the whole thing again or play as much as I did before. But
look, since it's free on Game Pass, I may give it a try.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I mean,
free on Game
Pass. I think because of how much fun I had with that game, I'm happy to see it come to the newer generations and with better everything because of the newer consoles coming to it, so everybody can see how much that game looks. Unfortunately, how much better the game looks. Unfortunately, that means they're going to go back to the Switch and be like, ooh. But no, it looks great on the Switch.
I like playing Fortnite after playing it on PS5.
Right.
It was.
But I'm excited to see it come there.
Was.
It's great that it's going to be $40 and not $60. And good for Capcom for bringing it there.
Well, apparently they feel like it's got legs and it's going to make a ton of money, right?
Oh, it will. I'm sure there's a lot of people who were like, thought it sucked that it was only on the Switch before. And then now they're going to get their chance to play it, because there are a ton of Monster Hunter players who love, especially on PlayStation. So, and that's a really cool get for Xbox, because I don't think there's ever been a Monster Hunter game on Xbox before.
I don't think so.
Was World not on Xbox?
Oh, maybe it was.
Maybe.
I didn't have an
really
Xbox
think
at the time,
was.
so
I think there was.
I think you were right. I think your World probably was on there, because that would probably would have been the first one that was on there.
Yeah, I forgot about World.
It was on Xbox One, and
what's interesting to remember though too, real quick, that I just thought of it, is that Nintendo has always been used to having a Monster Hunter portable game until Sony had their portable games, right? So, but it's always been popular with the portable crowd. And then when it came to console and it did really well there, like the Monster Hunter World and all that, then Monster Hunter became bigger. And then Monster Hunter Rise came out for a console level game, but you were able to play it on the go on the Switch. So
Oh,
you
what?
had that aspect, and now it's coming to the home consoles, the other consoles with, higher resolutions and frames per second and all that kind of stuff. But it tells you how big of a game this is, that it was on the Switch first, and then it was able to carry over to these other systems. And
Mikey Dreamer in the chat says that Rise did have a PC release of start in January of this year.
Oh, okay.
So it's been on Steam for almost a year.
Okay.
Well, let me say this. Here's where I think Nintendo goes with this.
Also for
Right
$40.
now. I think they back the dump truck of Nintendo money up to Capcom and one other developer. They combine them together. Ready for this, Tim? Monster Hunter cross Dynasty Warriors. Monster
Okay.
Hunter Musou.
Okay.
Make it. It makes Monster Hunter accessible, but it also makes it a game that the Switch can handle. Imagine that.
Almost.
Imagine that type of gameplay fighting monsties. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh,
See, my thing is this. I love the concept of Monster Hunter, but I don't like all the technical details. Right?
I just checked the Switch price.
I'm not good at timing and like learning patterns. I just want to go in and press the button a bunch of times and kill the monster. Let me do that.
Yeah, there is the actually, Jesse, go ahead. What did you find out about Nintendo?
So I checked the eShop price. It is down to $40 as a normal price. Currently half off. So if you buy it on Switch now, it's $20.
Ooh.
What I liked about Monster Hunter Rise, because for me, I liked it because it was more accessible. You had the option to get detailed or the option to just play casually. And that's how I played, was more casual. I didn't get into all the details and all that kind of stuff either, because that was like, I don't have time for that. I just want to go in and hunt down a monster, kill it, and get the parts, and then maybe get some super cool armor and weapons. That's all I cared about. So, but there's definitely more details you can get into if you want to.
I guess it's kind of like any like RPG like that. Like, I mean, you can kind of like brunt force your way through it. Because that's how I played a lot of RPGs as a kid. Like, I didn't understand all the systems. So you level up enough, you can do anything, right?
Just level. The way I played was like, does this make my character look cool? Okay, I'm going to pick this one.
Yes. Does this
magic spell look sweet? I'm picking that one.
Does this sword have a cool name?
Yes.
Dang right. That's what we're using, right?
That's called casual play. That's how we played.
Right. And but then you can get into the details, too. Like, I remember the first time I discovered Final Fantasy 3 or 6, as Jesse would correct me.
Thank you.
There's the combination of different items that can make Sabin hit like 8 times. Use the gem box and the claws and something, and he just becomes your go-to guy.
Yep. Yeah, because you definitely can gravitate to those sections where it's like you can start talking intelligently about certain sections of the game, but
sure.
But definitely, like especially with Monster Hunter Rise, you can get deep into it, and just go into our Discord and you watch like John from Dad's After Dark show talk about it, and I think Solo something, he was playing it, and Hambone, I think, might have even been playing it. I don't know. There was a group of people who were playing it that just were like, "Oh yeah, we're going in. We're gonna go raid, and I need this part. I need this monster," and they knew exactly what monster. I don't remember any of the names of those monsters, but I know there's some that look pretty cool, and I had to get the amiibos for them. So it's like,
as you do.
Yes. So, but yeah, it's different levels, but I'm happy that they are going to other consoles for other people to play. And then there was one thing I think I saw also Solo mention in our Discord. I hope cross progression is allowed.
It's not. I saw a tweet saying that there is not cross progression. There is not cross play.
That's really crappy.
That sucks.
I'm
But
really
okay.
not like, I don't care.
All right,
Like,
cheater! Darn it, get out of here! I don't want
people,
it. No.
I hate that for you. I like,
Yeah.
because I know some people that, like, I did see it. Somebody say that earlier. Like, it was either a tweet or a post on like the Nintendo voice chat forums. They were like, I've already started and done another character. I'm not doing a third one. Like, this would be really cool to play with my friends, but I'm not doing
It's
another one.
basically for those people who don't have a Switch or aren't into the Switch for that reason, who rather play Monster Hunter on a console, a bigger console, and want the graphics and the speed and all that kind of stuff. So, like the Monster
Right.
Hunter World people, they want this game probably.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is going to be out really soon. Of course, not in time for Christmas. It's a couple months, about a month or so away. If you're into that, it's coming. It's coming. So there you go. Speaking of games, let's talk about your ability to get 13 free Switch games in the month of December. No Gravity Games does this every year. And of course, I want to say this on the front end, if it's only available to people in the North American region, but people outside of the North American region, you can just create a Nintendo account for the North American region and access the eShop to get all the free games there. What's going to happen is this. You're on December 5th. The first game will be available to download for free. It's called Pirates All Aboard. The only requirement for downloading for free is that you own at least one of their games. All right. So if you own any No Gravity game, you're going to be able to download Pirates All Aboard for free on December 5th. But if you don't,
not quite right. Pirates All Aboard is the free game you get for signing up to the newsletter, which is where you were going.
That's where I'm going. If you sign up for the newsletter, you do get Pirates All Aboard. It counts toward the day one download. All right. Yes. You can go over to nogravitygames.com/Xmas-giveaway to sign up for the newsletter. Starting with day 2, if you have the previous day's game, you get that day's game for free. All right. If you missed a day, you can purchase the game you missed at a discount, and then the free game can be collected after that. So here are the first three games. You get Pirates All Aboard, of course, for free. December 5th, it's X Order. December 6th, it's Graviter. And December 7th, it's Creepy Tail. And other games will be revealed on their free game days. Now, let me go ahead and say this. All right. These are free games. All right. Let me say that again, because Tim's over here shaking his head as I say this. These are free games.
Yeah. These are games that normally sell for $5 or $10 normally. So expect or less. So expect that level of quality. These aren't Monster Hunter Rise quality games.
Some of these, I tried to go through several of them in a stream, and I had to stop because it was like there were more than I thought to get through, and the stream was getting long anyway. So I got through maybe, I don't even know if I got through a third of them or maybe half. So some of these, like Creepy Tail, I did in the stream. So you might be able to go back in our YouTube history and find that. And Graviteer, I think, is on there somewhere, so you could see what those games look like. But I know one thing: my kid Sammy, who says hi, by the way.
Hey, Sammy.
He always loves trying to get these free games, and he'll play them and doesn't care. Just he'll try them out, and if they stick, they stick. If they don't, they don't. But they're a bunch of free games, and if you do it every week like you're supposed to, the kids love doing that.
the goal of getting every game for free to some people is the game.
Yeah. Got to collect them all.
Yeah. And if No Gravity Games did this last year, and then I think a different publisher that No Gravity Games bought, I forget who did it in the previous. So this is like the 4th year someone's been doing this. So
I've gotten some of these before. Like we got Creepy Tail last year, and my son played it, and he does like some of the games, but these are free games.
Yeah.
These are free, and guys,
the 4 games we know about, I already have because of these previous things.
That's the thing is that most of these games you'll be getting for free are already out. So if you go check out No Gravity Games on the eShop, chances are you'll be able to find whether you want to even participate in this or not.
Yeah.
Okay?
Usually the last game is a game that's new, with relatively new, like meaning it wasn't out last year at this time.
Yeah.
So
and hear me, there are a couple of diamonds in the rough in there. Okay, like games that are legit fun to play. But one of them was, I think maybe you guys can remember, wasn't one of them like a free running game or like one of those like runner games where you were a gnome that like jumped and like when you glide, they pull their underwear out of their pants and tie like they fly with the boxers.
I did not play this game.
It's called it's called like Gnome Run or something like that, and it was fun for 5 minutes. Yeah, like so it's just look, guys, they're free games. I can't say that enough.
Free games.
These are free games.
No, again, they're people took their time to develop these and all that kind of stuff. And they're like I said, there are people who are going to enjoy some of these. You're probably not going to enjoy all of them. Because there were some things in there I found that I enjoyed. There was one space shooter that I liked, actually.
Yeah, I'm saying there's diamonds in the rough.
Yes.
You know what I think is a great way to use this? Hear me out on this, okay? Moms and dads, if you're listening to this podcast and you're at home and this would be a chance where like I'm gonna say something right now where maybe somebody doesn't need to hear that. Okay. So you may want to like pause and put your earbuds in or whatever. You get what I'm saying, right? Okay. So this would be one of those situations where you might do this. Like say you already have a Switch, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You would set this account. You would set an account up. You would get the games for someone and have all of them loaded on the device so that on a certain day or a certain time, when somebody says, what is there to play? Here's 13 free games.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like
okay.
My oldest daughter, who she just recently got married, so they're very tight on money. I told her about this. It was to tell them this every year, and they always get like one game and then drop it. But she's going to try to get them just so she has something to play. Again, and they're free, and she can afford free.
These are free games.
Yep.
There you go. Guys, let's talk about this other little news nugget about the Smash community. And then I want us to have some discussion about the Mario movie trailer that dropped this week, the more robust, I guess, non-teaser trailer that Nintendo let us see. Currently, Nintendo seems to be in hot water with the Smash community. And one of the reason for this is that the Smash World Tour posted sometime right after Thanksgiving over the past week that Nintendo had basically pulled the plug on partnership with them, on allowing them to host Smash events, on all kinds of things, and that this was now going to cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars that basically hundreds of thousands of dollars either they've already spent or they're not going to be able to recoup. And it seems that Nintendo is doing this in order to align themselves with a group called Panda, who they were already aligned with to do official Smash tournaments. And this has caused a pretty huge backlash. If you are in the Smash community, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But basically, from what I've read and from what I've come to understand, this meant that all events for Smash for the rest of this year and the entirety of 2023 would have to be canceled. And that these guys were operating kind of on a, like, Nintendo knew they existed. Nintendo was okay with them existing, but Nintendo didn't officially sponsor them.
Right.
They actually had meetings with them too.
Actually had meetings. Yeah, absolutely. But Nintendo has recently teamed up with Panda. And it seems to me maybe like Panda was like, hey, it's not fair for there to be another organization doing this when we're trying to do this with you. It doesn't really seem to be any clarity out there about where the pressure has come from, whether it's from Nintendo internally, or maybe it's a Nintendo Japan versus Nintendo America thing, or whatever, a regional thing, or maybe it's from Panda, or we don't know. All we know is that this was their statement. It says in 2022 alone, we connected over 6,400 live events worldwide with over 325,000 in-person entrants, making Smash World Tour, or SWT, the tour, the largest esports tour in history for any game title. The championships would have had the largest prize pool in Smash history at over $250,000. The 2023 Smash World Tour planned to have a prize pool at over $350,000, though, because they've now gone on to say, without any warning, we received notice the night before Thanksgiving from Nintendo that we could no longer operate. What do you guys think about this?
There's also a Nintendo statement too, but it's definitely a corporate statement as well, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah, if you're talking about the same statement I saw, it's like Nintendo's statement is contradictory to what the other statements are. So
there's two sides of the story, obviously. Again, to just like any controversy we have here, Nintendo screwed them over, essentially. It seems like, it screwed over them and the community run event. It is Nintendo's license. They get to come in and say, you can't use our game anymore, otherwise you're going to have legal troubles. That sucks from a consumer standpoint. It sucks from our standpoint as fans, especially if you're a Smash fan and you go to those events or are part of those events. It sucks. And it also makes Nintendo look like the old Nintendo again, back to the whole corporate type attitude of, whatever.
Remember PAX from 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Not
so
PAX.
From that standpoint,
the other big tournament. I forget what it's called now.
I know what you meant though. But it's basically, it's coming back around to, and somebody made a good point of this somewhere. I can't remember where I read it, probably in our Discord or maybe it was on Twitter. That it seems like one hand doesn't know what the other hand is doing. And this may be a reference to, Jesse, I think what you said about Nintendo Japan versus Nintendo America, or Marty, if that was you, one of you two said it. So Nintendo of America may have been like the ones, there might have been a group there who was like talking to them throughout the year and like, hey, we're going to, we want to work with you. We want to work with you on getting your license, because the impressions that group had was that they were going to have to get a license for 2023, or I can't remember if it was for 2023 or if they had to work through 2023 to get a license for 2024. But there was some sort of verbal communication that they were under the impression that they would be able to keep going. And then to have this come down on them to say, no, you can't, all of a sudden, any plans that they did make, they're stuck with and they're losing money, which sucks. But again, this always comes back. This came back to the thing we were talking about in Pokemon. There should have been a plan B, so from a business side, it's going to be the factor of Nintendo owns the IP. They don't have a license. They didn't work through whatever they needed to get that license. And Nintendo said, you didn't get that license. You have to stop. Whatever plans you have to stop. Otherwise, things are going to get worse, essentially.
So this is where I'm going to kind of side with Justin on what he would probably say if he was here. Nintendo is protecting their IP. Nintendo is protecting their IP. Nintendo is protecting their interests And some people are not going to like what I have to say here, but it bears saying that a lot of times the Smash community is incredibly toxic. At least what I've seen. And there may be other things that have gone on at these tournaments because there have been allegations made against popular Smash players, commentators, all kinds of things in the last couple of years that are not good. That whether people want to admit it or not, whether people want to think this way or not, it does reflect on Nintendo because it's Smash, right? And for a lot of people who aren't in the community or in the know or in the tournament scene, if they see Smash being played at a competitive level, in their brain, they go, Nintendo did that, right? And so if Smash World Tour at any point was operating, whether they had a verbal or written agreement or not, if they were operating in a way that Nintendo did not want them to operate, and there may have been some back and forth that we're not privy to there. If that happened and continued to happen, Nintendo is perfectly in their rights to say, we're done here.
Yeah, there was something where something wasn't met. We don't know those details.
Right.
Nintendo said, again, you have to stop.
Until a book gets written about it.
10 years from now, we'll know more details.
Or the tell-all podcast.
Oh, wait.
Well, that was weird.
Yeah, he froze up. So something similar happened 2 years ago where the Nintendo said you can't run this tournament, but that was because they were using
modifying.
They were using emulators and a modded game.
Yes.
That enabled netcode. That I understand.
Yes.
Because Nintendo doesn't want to be associated with emulators. So I don't understand why they couldn't have just had both events. Why can't they do both? I don't know.
Or just say, finish out 2023 and we're done here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Finish out
this is the part I don't understand. That's the part I don't understand, is that this group went ahead and planned 2023 without the license because they had some sort of impression that they could. But Nintendo came back and was like, nope, sorry, you can't.
And therein, Tim, may reveal part of the problem.
Yes. And that's the part where I feel there's some irresponsibility of the group side.
It feels like a little bit of the old saying, it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission.
Yeah.
Except it's a multi-million-dollar corporation who, as Justin will remind us from time to time, they don't really care about you. They're not your Uncle Nintendo. They want to take your money, and that's it. That's why when we say they don't care about us, they won't release F-Zero.
But
you're right.
They do have to be careful, though. Nintendo has to be careful when they do these type of things, and they do them too much. There's going to be consumer backlash.
I agree with that.
So
you're exactly right about that.
They have to be careful. And again, we're going to get people where we're like, oh, you're trying to give Nintendo an out and all that. No, we're trying to tell you both sides of it from our perspective, is that, yes, as a Smash fan, Nintendo sucks for doing this. And for what seems to be, cold-hearted move on Nintendo's side to just shut down that side or not give permission to at least do, maybe, like you said, Marty, at least, if not the whole 2023, at least do the first half. Hey, okay, you got things booked up to through the summer. You can do it up to the summer, but after June, you have to cancel all the other ones. Come to a compromise there or something. But we don't know what has been talked about. We can be mad at Nintendo all we want. We can say this other company or this other group didn't do everything that they should have done all we want. We don't know all the other details other than the little bit that the group told us they did and didn't do, and what Nintendo said they did and didn't do. And that's all we have. So.
And the problem with it is until they make some kind of like big official statement, right? Which they're probably not going to do because, again, we talked about this with Pokemon earlier in the show. Nintendo doesn't really do this.
Right.
It's just,
And it's a small group too.
What do we call it? Rumor and innuendo. It's just
Right.
rumor and innuendo. And that's where they'll leave it because at the end of the day, I would wager to bet that competitive Smash doesn't really make Nintendo a lot of money.
But
And
again, it goes
so
back to what I'm saying about
may not be that
impacting.
concerned about it. It will.
This-
It could impact their bottom line as far as goodwill.
As far
But
as the core gamer goes, is what I'm thinking. Because depending on how hard this hits the core gamers, the core Smash players, it could sour those players, and you could lose a base of Nintendo fans there.
Yeah, and that would really suck.
Yeah.
I hate it for people who play competitive Smash. Like, I don't get that whole scene at all. Like, I don't like to play competitive games. Or I don't like to play it at that level of competitiveness. Like, I'll play online. I'll mess around, do stuff like that. But I'm not gonna spend 600 hours learning how to wave dash with Fox on a GameCube controller so I can play in tournaments. Number one, tournaments like that in Tennessee are few and far between. Number two, I'm not great at Smash. Okay, and I'll admit that I'm passable. Give me Bowser, let me wreck shop on some kids, 12 years old or less. We're great, awesome. Here's the deal. Like I remember when I was like 8, well, probably 9 or 10, because I got my Nintendo when I was 8. I remember there being a Super Mario Brothers tournament, like a Nintendo tournament. They just called it, we're going to have a Nintendo tournament at this random bank on the weekend. And the goal was, how fast can you beat Super Mario Brothers? Right. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was so cool to compete that way. So I get it, I guess. So it sucks for those people, but it's not like they're saying you can't compete at all.
Yeah.
Right? It's but we got to remember they're going to protect their IP and they're going to protect they're going to do something that's official. It's a big deal that Nintendo's even thinking about competitive gaming anyway, right? That they would partner with somebody to do that. It's a big deal. Right. Nintendo of 1990 would not do that. Nintendo of 2000 would not do that. But here we are. Yes. And so what they're saying is you gotta play by our rules.
Yep. I guess this is, and I didn't think about it this way until just now. This is equivalent to a movie. You buy a Blu-ray, and you'll see copyright information saying that so for home entertainment use only, cannot be. You basically can't use it to make money.
I can't go and charge people to come to my house to watch.
You can't charge admission. Yeah.
Darn it.
Even though games may not have an explicit copyright issue notice anywhere, but that still exists because that's what copyright is. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be said to exist.
Yep. A couple comments in our chat. Connoy says, "Man, that sucks. Nintendo being kind of shady." And then Nika says they had to go, so see you later. Thanks for stopping by. And then Ms. says, I heard some shady stuff happened with the dude that runs the tourney. So, and then there's lots of comments.
Okay. Well, hey, look, thank you for that. Thanks for interacting.
Yes, thank you very much.
And maybe eventually one day we will get to know, but probably not. Let's move on. Let's talk about something a little more happier, shall we? Nintendo this week let us know that there was going to be a direct on.
But before we start, should we start it off with "Let's-a go"? With the emotionless "Let's-a go."
Yeah. So Nintendo gave us our next look at the Super Mario Brothers movie, or actually the Super Mario movie, right? That is going to be releasing April 7th of 2023 with a brand new trailer featuring first ever getting to hear Princess Peach, getting to hear Yoshi, really getting to hear Toad, Bowser back at it again. Lots going on in this trailer, guys. Holy crap. I just want to ask you this. What was your favorite part of this trailer?
Princess Peach wielding a halberd.
In her Mario Kart jumpsuit.
In her unitard or whatever that jumpsuit. Yeah.
That's very cool. Very cool. Tim, what about you? Favorite part?
The Mario Kart stuff. That was like, oh, that's gonna be in there. That's cool.
Look, that was all like within like a 10-second. I love the Mario Kart stuff, but I'm gonna tell you the part that made me gasp out loud. Like literally, I went was the Tanuki suit.
Yes.
When he came flying under that mushroom with the Tanuki suit, guys, like I cannot wait to sit in the theater and watch this movie.
Yeah.
Every moment that trailer was showing, my smile got bigger and bigger as I watched it, because I was just like, okay, this second trailer for sure. Like the first one was about analyzing it, who's going to sound like what, and all that kind of stuff. So I really felt like I enjoyed it, but really didn't feel like I could really enjoy it. This one, it was like I already know what to expect other than the few things that I haven't heard or seen. So it was just like, okay, I'm probably going to get more things that I missed or didn't see, but I'm just going to sit back and see, how it feels. And man, it did not disappoint. I'm so looking forward to this and happy with what I saw and heard. Nothing was wrong with it for me.
The voices are so good.
I wish we could have heard Seth Rogen. We haven't heard him yet, but I do like the modified Donkey Kong model.
Modified Donkey Kong model looks great, and can we agree? By the way, if you haven't seen it yet, I mean, you need to go pause this podcast right now, go to YouTube, type in Mario movie trailer, watch the first one. It's Illumination's got it, Nintendo's got it. Come back after you have watched that, but the very beginning, the door opens. Mario walks out onto this Donkey Kong red steel beam. There's boxes and there's girders. There's the blocks and the question blocks everywhere. And he gets down into like a 3-point stance.
It looks like it's gonna be a Smash Brothers.
Yeah, I mean, do you guys think that's a Smash Brothers reference, or are we just reading too much into that?
Totally.
So Mario versus Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong beats the ever-living crap out of him right in the beginning. We kind of get to see Princess Peach in action, hear her speak for the first time. We see that there's going to be Fireflower Peach, so she's not just going to be like hanging out, like getting saved. She's going to be in the mix. Toad, with incredible, impeccable comic timing, drops the "but we're adorable" line. You see a map of the like, I guess, the world, and you see Bowser's kind of like moving across it in his ship, and you see all these other islands. There's Yoshi's.
You saw like the ice island that has been just scarred.
Yep. He's coming for the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah. And there's a Sarasa land.
Like it just, it gives it like. And did you know, like the desert, like, is all blocky, like it's 8-bit pixelated, like
the
guys, there's so much. So you've got the Mario, like the Mario Kart moment where Mario's on the cart, but then they take it one step further. He comes flying out of a cloud onto Rainbow Road. There's like, we see in the background of these shots, we see Cranky Kong, we see Dixie Kong, Kitty Kong, Diddy, Swanky Kong. So I'm like, are all these people getting voices too? Like, are all these, like, are they gonna? I love the interaction with Bowser and Luigi, and how like he's trying to manipulate Luigi against Mario and all this. I can't wait for April.
Yep.
Every bit of high hopes, low expectations for me is completely out the window at this point. I am 100% bought in. I'm going to sit in the theater and I'm going to cry and laugh and cheer and I cannot wait.
And I hope my theater has Super Mario movie tins that you can get for the popcorn, like I do for the Marvel movies.
That'll be cool. If they do, I'm gonna have to get you to get me one because none of our theaters do anything cool like that. But here's the thing: this movie comes out on my son's birthday weekend.
Nice.
How cool is that?
That's perfect.
Like his birthday is Easter Sunday this year. We're going to go round up a bunch of his friends. We're all going to go see the Mario movie. I may go back and see it again the next day. I did want to mention this week that Jeff Gersman from Giant Bomb is confirming or is continuing to corroborate leaks that have come out that this movie is about 85 to 86 minutes long. So you're looking at about an hour and a half-ish of Mario action, which is pretty good for an animated movie, right? I feel like maybe it's a little bit short, but that's just because I want more of it. And he also reported that this movie will be available for purchase, like to take home on May 11th, which sounds a little soon to me.
I could see maybe streaming that early and then Blu-ray release later, but if that's Blu-ray release only 6 weeks after release,
maybe it's more of the buy to play at home where it's like more expensive.
Yeah,
to do.
And what I'm wondering is that a placeholder date from when it was supposed to come out in December?
That could
it's like, hey, we're 6 months later, and now the movie's out in time.
That would make sense,
or stuff like that, or. Is it this is our placeholder date? We're going to see how much money this makes, and we're going to adjust accordingly to leave it in theaters.
They have been quick with digital releases.
Mikey in the chat says 45-day window before digital sounds about right.
Yeah, they've been getting quicker and quicker with their releases like that.
I remember when there used to be 3 years between theatrical release and the VHS release.
Listen. I don't buy many movies physically anymore. Like I have been buying. The only movies I really buy physically anymore are Marvel movies. This one I'm buying. I will own a Blu-ray copy of this movie. I don't even buy Disney movies anymore. That used to be what it was, Disney, Marvel, which now they're the same thing.
Yeah,
pretty much. But
I'll probably get it on Ultra.
Disney,
4K.
Marvel, General Disney, Marvel, Star Wars, and Transformers. Like is basically what we own. And I will definitely buy this. It's going to be in my collection.
Yeah. Especially if there's a special version of it.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Rounding on our news this week, a couple of game release updates we want to let you know. River City Girls 2 did release in Japan and Asian regions today. North American and European regions are still planned to be released before the end of the year. Jesse, is this one of those games that if you have a Japanese account, you can just get it and play it in English right now?
Maybe. I haven't looked to see if it has English support, but the fact because it's not available in North America yet, probably tells me that there's an issue with the English.
They're doing some localization.
So it'll probably be patched in later, and then that's when it'll be released here.
Yeah, absolutely. Sad news for Tim and others who are waiting for Disney Speedstorm. This game has now been delayed into 2023 with no official date given.
That's it. I'm out of here. Bye.
I thought you were playing this already, like in a beta.
Yeah, I did a beta over the summer.
But like you can't play it anymore.
No, it was a beta test that we had to. I can't remember if we had to do an NDA with that or not, but we got to be in their summer test and had to answer questions and give feedback and all that kind of stuff. And it was
time with it. Can you say either thumbs up, thumbs down?
I can say this, that it was, if it would have come out after our feedback, there would have been some complaints because they didn't have enough in there yet. It was just enough for us to be, because it was the same music, I think, if I remember correctly, on most of the tracks. And I know each track is supposed to be, the soundtrack is supposed to be towards that whatever movie or character it was for that track. So there was still a lot of work to be done, but I still thought it was
more of an alpha test.
Yeah, it was a beta more just to it was fun. The beta was
Okay.
fun. So, and I was very excited to get into playing it. And because I played Asphalt, which is a racing game that Gameloft makes, and I think is influenced by their experience with that in the Speed Storm. I really like Asphalt 9, I think it is the game that's out on the Switch. So I was
Yes.
looking forward to Speedstorm, and diving into that, especially with some of the characters I like. So I fully expected it to have been released this year, but there must have been enough feedback to tell them otherwise. So, because there were certain progressions. Sorry, there was certain progressions on that were frustrating. That were the board. I'm trying to remember some of the details. The boards were fun, the characters were fun, but there was something about because obviously it's Gameloft, it's mobile, it's all that. There was something about the monetization around it that was frustrating. That was clearly meant to make a buck, and a lot of us gave feedback that said, "Look, we understand what this is supposed to do, but you have a paywall in areas that shouldn't be there, and doesn't make it. That's what takes away from the fun that this game could have."
Yeah. Well, apparently they're working on it, and it could be a while. I don't know if Disney's gaming side is affected by all the recent shakeups over there, with Chapek being kicked out and Michael Eisner coming back, or Bob Iger. I can't remember which one it is. It's the good one. It's the good one. It's the one who did good for Disney for all those years. He came back for 2 years. So we'll see.
Well, one other thing I thought of too,
I would love to play this game. I think it looks interesting.
I think Valley might have had some influence on this too, on their decision to delay it, is their experience with Valley and how people are doing with that, and buying into it or not buying into it, I think is affecting the delay.
Gotcha. Absolutely.
Michael Eisner was coming back. No, it's not Michael Eisner.
Aren't they doing pretty good, Disney Dreamlight Valley?
Yes. I
think it's been pretty successful.
Just look at Nick from Game Pass News. He says he loves that game. He's constantly in there.
Yeah.
So
I think I'm still going to try that on Game Pass. But a couple other release news here. Mario Kart Track Pack is going to be available next week. If you have a Nintendo Switch Online subscription or you're buying them individually, know this is going to be available Wednesday, December 7th. And this is going to be the last track pack for this year, including a Christmas track that you'll definitely want to play here at the holidays, and lots of others. All those tracks have now been revealed, and you can go check those out over on Nintendo's YouTube channel. Lots of really cool offerings. Maple Speedway, I think is the name of it. It's the one from the Wii where you're up in the trees and it's fall. That was one of my favorite tracks. So good. I really am convinced after this track pack though that they're on a mission to put every Rainbow Road from every game in this game, like ever. You're going to have all of them, all the Rainbow Roads, which is unfortunately Rainbow Road just doesn't.
What if they make a tournament where it's just all Rainbow Roads?
That's the next Mario Kart. The next Mario Kart is just Mario Kart Rainbow Road.
That'll be pack 6 is the Rainbow Road pack.
Yeah, every track is Rainbow Road. 48 tracks of Rainbow Road. Splatoon 3 has been updated. Chill season is now active, including new outfits, new catalog, new weapons, new map. So it's pretty hefty update. So be sure if you're playing Splatoon 3 or maybe you haven't in a while, go over there and download that. Be well worth your while. And one other thing, if you're still dipping into Fortnite like Justin and I do occasionally, Chapter 3 is ending. Chapter 3 is already ending this Saturday at 3 p.m. Central Time. They will have the Fracture event, and that will supposedly lead into Chapter 4, which should begin on Sunday morning. If they continue to follow the pattern. However, this is a brand new chapter, which could mean a brand new map. The map may flip over again or whatever happens, but look for a a new season probably to begin on Sunday with another like 2.5 month time. I think this time was 10 weeks. So that's about 2.5 months. But it's a great time for this to happen because usually, at least in the past few years, they've offered free things or, some kind of like open your presents thing around Christmas where you get stuff. And I'm excited to see what's in there. Be interesting if it's a new map or if they flip the island back over and it's the old map again. I really don't know what's happening. I think you're supposed to read comic books or stuff. I just go shoot people. Anyway, check that out. Guys, that's our news for this week. We're going to take a quick break for an ad from Manscaped.
All right, whether it's for a friend or friends in your pants, you can make this season to be jolly with Manscaped. Do your little drum boy a favor and use the Lawnmower 4.0 to avoid another silent night in the bedroom. Then add in Manscaped's top-of-the-line shower products to have the people thinking, all I want for Christmas is you. Santa cares about his sack, and so should you. Look nice when you get naughty by going to manscaped.com and use NINDADS for free shipping and 20% off. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code NINDADS. That's NINDADS. That's again 20% off, free shipping in Manscaped. I can't say it enough. But again, you can get any of the products that they have at manscaped.com, like the 4.0 Platinum package, where it has several things like the body washes, or there's the Performance Package Plus, which has the body wash, the premium 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner, ultra premium deodorant. It's the best way to smell fresh from your Santa hat to your candy cane. So what do you guys have that you would give to somebody that you would say, you know what, I use this, not because they smell. You should try this.
You stink. Here, take this. No, I was like, as soon as you said that, I was thinking about the scrubber, like the silicone scrubber pad thing with the little knobby on the back.
Body buffer, yes.
The body buffer and the body wash and the shampoo. That's my go-to right now. But also the crop preserver saves my life every summer.
So just go read the package of that.
Just go read the product description. You'll know what I'm talking about.
Are you saying you give them one of the bottles, or would you give them the little packs with the wipes?
Oh no, the bottles. We got to get the bottles. Yeah, we got to get it all.
Okay. How about you, Jesse?
Yeah, I was also going to say the body buffer with the body wash and the shampoo conditioner.
Excellent.
Those are the products I use the most.
Yeah, I agree with that. This is definitely the new body buffer thing has been great. I love it. It helps actually save some of the soap, I think, too, where you don't have to use as much. So I think that is a great gift. I think you can actually get a package with the buffer and some of the body wash, right? So
you can, yes.
Yep. Let's see. So again, that's get 20% off and free shipping with the code NINDADS at manscaped.com. So that, what does it say? Manscaped, get your jingle balls ready for the holidays. Here we go.
Yep. That's exactly what it says. All right, guys, let's talk about some events coming up. The Breakfast Table is coming up December 14th. It's a Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern. It's the second Wednesday of every month. This is our morning edition of the dinner table, where you can come and hang out, chat with fellow Discord members. You have to be a patron of the show or a Twitch Prime subscriber and be in our Discord in order to be a part of this. It helps us build our community. And really, it's not that we're trying to exclude people. It's just that there's things that get talked about in here that are family related, personal stuff. And so we just don't want that going.
It is a gate. It is a gate, though, too, so that you don't have nefarious people coming in and trying to ruin it.
That's exactly right. So we want to maintain the walled garden of our community. And speaking of the dinner table, it'll happen 2 days later, Friday, December 16th at 10 p.m. Eastern. It's the third Friday of the month. If you want to join the table, either the breakfast table or the dinner table, remember you have to be a Patreon or Twitch subscriber. Throw your Twitch Prime subscription our way, and join our Discord call on either of those days. You can actually go in there, see when the next one is, and get a reminder that will remind you in Discord about when that is going to happen. Also, we are asking you to let us know.
I had to double check the dates because I'm not used to them being 2 days apart because the first is a Thursday.
Yep. That's what happens when the first is Thursday.
I had to do the same thing. I was like, wait a minute. How did this happen? How come the second Wednesday is that Wednesday, the 14th, and then the third Friday is that 16th, 2 days later? How did that happen? And it's like looking at the calendar. It's like, okay.
Christmas magic.
Yep.
We also are asking all of our patrons in Discord to let us know what are your top 10 Nintendo games of 2022. Those would be games released on the Switch in the calendar year 2022, and you can currently go and drop them in the channel top 10
right
games.
Yep, top 10 games
2022. But we're not just going to let our Discord community get in on this. We want our listeners and Twitter community, Facebook community, YouTube community, whoever, Twitch, get in on this as well. And so how can you let us know about your top 10 Nintendo games of 2022? Well, there's a few ways. You can tweet us at Nintendo Dads. You can send us a message on any of our social media outlets, or you can send your list to nintendodads@gmail.com. We do want to remind you as you do this that DLC counts. So like Monster Hunter Sunbreak can be one of your games of top 10 games of 2022 if you want it to be. One of the DLC packs for Mario Kart can be on your list. And so leave them in that Discord channel, tweet us, drop us a note in a DM on social media, send them to nintendodads@gmail.com, and we'll be revealing your and our top 10 Nintendo games of 2022 early in January.
Another caveat that we've counted is, say, look at Inscription. Tim and I played Inscription last year on PC. We played it on PlayStation earlier this year. It is now out on the Switch, released this year. We can count it on our list.
Yep.
Even though we may not have played it on the Switch, but I was still counting it.
I just downloaded it on my Switch.
You're going to have fun with that.
I can't wait.
I purchased the reserve copy of it too, so I can get the physical version of it.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. I am not. Unlike Tim, I am not triple dipping this game.
I'm just dipping.
I'm tempted to even do a fourth dip and get it digitally as well on the Switch. I don't know.
So you like it that much?
We'll talk about that when we get to the top games this year.
Okay. Very good. Well, with that, it's time for Jesse's PokéMinute.
Pika, Pika, Pikachu!
I hate you all.
Hoenn Mega Raid Day is this Saturday, December 3rd, from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. local time. Mega Sceptile, Mega Blaziken, and Mega Swampert will make their Pokemon Go debuts in Mega Raids. Trainers will be able to get up to 5 additional free raid passes from spinning gym photo discs during the event. A $5 event ticket will be available to grant additional rewards to trainers until 10 p.m. local time. 6 additional raid passes from spinning gyms, in addition to the 6 given to everyone. 50% more XP from raid battles, increased chance to get rare Candy XL, and 2 times Stardust from raid battles. There's going to be upcoming community days on December 17th and 18th. We'll return all past community days featured this year and last year. Then there'll be a January 7th community day, a community day classic on January 21st, and then February 5th. More information on what will be featured will be released later. More additional events. There'll be an event December 10th and 11th. Details to come. December 24th and 25th. Details to come. And then announced Pokemon Go Tour Hoenn, which is what I kind of suspected they were going to do, Saturday, February 25th and Sunday, February 26th, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. local time each day. Special research with Professor Willow will explore Hoenn folklore about the red and blue orbs, which are said to have some connection to Primal Kyogre and Primal Groudon. Event tickets will be available for an additional masterwork research to lead to an encounter with Shiny Jirachi. People in the chat are saying they like this song.
Your segment is the only one that gets theme music.
Get the fancy music, or we get the fancy Robo Jesse. One of those two.
He's just fancy. I mean, it's fancy Robo Jesse, fancy music, fancy artisanal sandwiches. You never know what you're going to get. It's like a box of chocolate.
Fancy.
Yep. Well, that being said, let's get into what we've been playing, shall we? Tim says no.
No, I got a correction actually. Before we get into what we've been playing, real quick, I forgot to change this in the notes, but actually this upcoming dinner table will not be at 10 p.m. on the 16th. It'll actually be at 9 p.m. on the 16th. That's 9 p.m. Eastern time. And the reason why it'll be at 9 p.m. is because whoever can make it can come and share what Secret Santa gifts they got from our community members who participated in the gift exchange. So we'll be doing that again at the dinner table at 9 p.m. That's just one way to do it. Of course, I think Drew said he's probably going to make a video and drop it. Or he might stop by at there. But there's different ways that people can share that. And we'll talk about that more in the community spotlight later. But I want to make sure
the chat says I got mine already. And I'm like, yeah, I know you did.
Well, I guess we know who Ebucel's Secret Santa is.
All right. So yeah, we can move on to what we've
Let's talk about what we've been playing. Tim, you've written an entire dang paragraph in here.
I'm sorry. Ebicel says he didn't open it yet.
Oops.
Well, there's no spoilers. It's just, you just know he got it because he's been saying it all in Discord. So, but right. All right. So what have I been playing? I'll try to be quick and not take as long as it looks like it could take. But I've been playing since we didn't have to be on the show last week. I've been playing a lot, through Thanksgiving and all that kind of stuff. So Xbox, I've been trying out some games. I tried out Gungrave Core, which is a third-person shooter, and it's hard as balls. Because I got to the first boss and just kept dying. I couldn't figure out what to do there. So
you need some crop preserver.
Yeah, probably. It has a lot of aspects to it where it's a third-person shooter, and you're just going in, running and gunning, essentially shooting a lot of people. You have a lot of combo moves you can do with your gun or with your powers or whatever. And it was a lot of fun up to the point where I had to fight the boss. And just for whatever reason, I could not get my combination of weapons to work against that thing without taking damage and dying constantly. So that was it for that run. And then I switched over to playing Vampire Survivors, which I heard a lot about. In fact, I think it's up for an award on the Game Awards.
It's like Game of the Year or something, or Indie Game of the Year.
It's somewhere in there, but I had to try it. It's a roguelike shmup. And basically it's 16-bit, maybe even less than that. Maybe it's 8-bit. I don't know, but I love that game. I am not as good as other people I saw because I thought I was doing pretty good at this game. And basically, before I go any further, it's basically you pick a warrior and you start off with one that you have access to, and you have to go get money basically in order to buy the other warriors that you can pick from and use. But you go pick a warrior, you go in, and you have to basically shoot oncoming hordes of various enemies, like zombies, ghosts, plants, even vampires, bats, just all kinds of people coming at you, all kinds of enemies coming at you, but you upgrade your weapons through as you go through the board, dodging these things coming after you at the same time that your character is automatically firing off these things. Because basically you're just kind of walking around trying to collect better weapons, using those weapons to defend yourself or defeat the monsters that are coming at you, and keep going and exploring and trying to get better and better. And the object is to try to put together the best build you can for your character to survive the masses of enemies that come at you all of a sudden. Because there's at a certain point where I get to a certain experience point where I've collected a lot of things, and then all these hordes of things just come swarming at me, and I can't get past it. It's still a blast to play to try to figure out, but I just can't get past it. But I thought I was doing pretty good when I got to that point. I was like, oh man, I made it to, however many experience points that was. And then I watched somebody else play. It's like, no, I didn't get anywhere near.
Is this
hordes of people
Castlevania?
It's not even close to Castlevania. It's basically, it looks like a bunch of Castlevania characters coming at you, but it's basically, you're just on this flat plane, and you got whips coming out and projectiles coming out of you and trying to protect you and all that kind of stuff. And you got all these monsters swarming in around you, and you're just basically walking around trying to get through them and killing the things that are in front of you, trying to stay away from the things that are trying to get you. It's basically just have to go give it a try. And I downloaded it to my Xbox to try it there because I've been playing via the cloud, and that hasn't been bad. But I wanted to try it on the console to see if there's a different experience, and I haven't had a chance to try that yet. But it's a lot of fun because there is some puzzle element to try to, again, put together a build of weapons and spells that'll get you through these hordes of monsters and survive. That's why it's Vampire Survivors.
Yeah, the nomination is for best debut indie.
All right. Yep. Yes. So I'd say just go give it a try. It's probably, it doesn't teach you very much either. You're going to have to figure a lot of stuff out on your own. But it seems like it's simple enough to pick up. I mean, I say that for me because I'm a casual gamer. I categorize myself as a casual gamer. So, and I had a lot of fun with it, and I was able to figure things out. So, on my Switch, I've been playing a game I actually finished it. It's a puzzle game called Gorogoa. Gorogoa is Gorogoa.
Gorilla.
No.
Gorogoa.
Gorogoa.
Like, is this the game I played last year?
So, yeah, when did this come out? This came out in 2017. But there was an ad somewhere where they were doing like a limited run. It might have been limited run itself or another one of those type of limited run companies that were doing a limited run of this game physically. And it looked, the cover of it looked great. I heard about it before, and I was like, you know what? I think my wife would enjoy it. I was going to try to get it, but I didn't make it in time to buy it. There was very limited amounts to get it. So, but I read about it some more, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to download this. I recommended it to my wife, said she should download it too, but I downloaded it. It's basically a puzzle game that uses art to tell a story that you can zoom in on and zoom out of to change your aspect of that art and manipulate things that are happening. And then also too, when you zoom in on some things, you can slide that art to another panel to the right, left, or bottom, or up, wherever that original piece of art was. And it then takes the art apart so that, say you go through a doorway, and then you're looking at this, this one aspect of this artwork, and you move the panel over, then the doorway becomes empty. And then you can use that doorway to access another area of the art, another piece of art. So I would say watch a video of this. It's very unique gameplay. It is. I got through it in a few hours. I was able to finish the game and see the story, and I enjoyed it immensely. So I would say again, check out Gorogoa.
It's on sale right
Gorogoa.
now. It's on sale.
Yes, it is
70%
70%
off.
off. Yes. So,
$4.49. So if you're looking for a puzzle game on the Nintendo Switch, you have no excuse.
Yeah, Blanco suggested this to me last year, and I played it on Xbox and it was amazing.
yes, it's an amazing visual story. So if you're looking for text narrative, it's not here. It's all visual, and you're putting together the story by the visuals and by the artwork and zooming in and out and seeing some of the motion that happens in the story. So I enjoyed it. Again, I consider myself casual player, so I was able to get through it, and I think so a lot of people could probably get through this, but I still think it also will satisfy even the most hardcore gamer in some aspects too. So I mean, Jesse enjoyed it, so there you go. All right, so the other games I'm playing a game called Swordship that I'll have full coverage on after the 5th. So I can't say any more than that. Night Witch I played and streamed. And you can look up by going back to Swordship, by the way, that is a roguelike type game. I would say go look it up. It is on the Nintendo Switch. Swordship, all one word. So check it out. You can read about that. And so I just can't talk about it much yet until after the 5th. Again, going back to the Night Witch, I did stream that. That is basically a Metroidvania shoot 'em up as well, a shmup, with a deck of cards that you can use for weapons that your witch can use. So you get a deck, you get cards that you have access to, and you can build your deck as you get more and more cards. You use mana to pay for those cards. So if you're a Magic user, Magic the Gathering player, you would know what kind of that feel is there, where you have to have enough mana to pay for your cards. So you start off, you start off with 3 mana points. And so you're limited to the amount of mana you can use, and it's replenished by defeating enemies. And again, it's a Metroidvania. So you have a map, you go and you're exploring the map, and you're trying to figure out what's going on in the world. Since there's a whole story behind this. I won't go into it. So you can find out about it if you decide to play it. But basically you are exploring this underground tunnels that your people are in, that you have to figure out why that you were attacked. Your people in your city were attacked. You're going to explore it, and you're being attacked by these robots, and they're shooting at you like any kind of shmup would, where you're getting multiple bullets coming at you, and you can get ambushed by a bunch of robots. And so you're going to have bullets coming at you from all angles. What I liked about this, again, and I keep saying this, I'm a casual player. I'm not very good at games, but I enjoy playing games that can challenge me. This game has the ability for you to set it the way to your skill level. So there's actually a cool little way that it does that, is that you can discover or look it up on the internet or whatever, cheat codes that will help you play the game the way you want to. In fact, I had to look up a cheat code during the stream to get invincibility mode so I could get through the first boss, just so I could see the card battle, because it's tough. It's shmups. I am not good at shmups. I love them, but I've learned that I am not good at them because I don't have the quick coordination to move. I prefer games where I can think and make my move. This does not give me the opportunity. Although there's some things like the card building that does. That's why I'm intrigued. Plus it's a Metroidvania. I'm intrigued. But you are a flying witch that's going through these tunnels, and you're trying to save your people. And I'm learning more and more about this game, to where I'm finding more cards, building my deck to get better weapons. I just need to learn how to get more mana power, because right now I'm still at 3, and I'm sure that's coming up. But I would highly recommend checking this out if you're into shmups and you like Metroidvanias. And I would say this is probably on the level of hard as Metroid Dread was. But again, Metroid Dread, I didn't have a million things coming at me at the same time. So I was able to get through that game and beat that one. Where this one, it's like I had to use invincibility mode to get through that first boss. But I've learned there's other cheat codes that I can use. They're basically sets of runes that I have to figure out that I can get more health drops or more shards to help pay for things. So you can turn those on and off to make the game however you want to play it. So highly recommended that one as well. I've also been playing Pokemon Violet. I've gotten through 3, I call them bosses. That's I beat the Cortando gym, the Stony Cliff Titan, and the Artisan gym. And now I'm going on to the Open Sky Titan. So if any of you have been playing Pokemon, you know or you've heard anything about it, there are 3 different paths you can go on. I'm playing all paths, essentially, if you didn't catch what I'm doing.
I think that's what the game really wants you to do.
It is.
So I am playing all paths, and I'm only did a couple gyms. I'm doing a couple Titans, and then I'm going to go to after this Titan, I'm going to go for the first, what do they call the star something?
Operation Starfall.
Yeah, the first person I have to fight in that area. So I'll be going to that one next. So that's what I've been playing, and I've been having a lot of fun playing Pokemon Violet with that. And like we talked about earlier, I've been having a lot of fun with this game because of the variety of this. And there's something about the story that's keeping me intrigued that I want to find out more of what's going on here with all these different routes and the main thing that's happening in the center of the island and all that kind of stuff. So there's something there I want to know about.
I don't know if I'm 2 gyms and 2 Titans into it, because it sounds to me like you're following the route, Tim, that Polygon.com has published on their site, because I've started following that, but I tried to do just my own route. Like I was just going to go in a direction, and I think it's cute that the game kind of makes it feel like you can do whatever you want to do, but not really.
It's cute.
It's still a very set thing, because like I was like, oh, I'm going to go down here to this gym, and I go into a cave, and all of a sudden everything in there is level 40. And I was
that's the exact same cave I came across
south of Cortando. Yeah, I was like, I'm going to go up here, and like the Titan that you fight, the Open Skies Titan, I beat him when I was kind of under leveled. I kind of pulled it out of my butt. But I beat him.
Yeah.
And so now I'm following that guide, and it's a lot better. But I will say that, like, when you talk about the story, the story that's coming along with the Titans, where you're getting the Herba Mystica, as you know, a little more of that's getting revealed every time I beat one, and it's actually a really, like, I was
it's very intriguing, isn't it?
Well, you've just seen the first part. Wait till you see the second part, because it's. I thought it was like, I was like, oh, you know, like
see, you're saying this about the Titan Quest.
Yes,
I would say the same thing is probably even more so with the Starfall.
Okay,
this is actually a very, this is probably the best rival team in any generation.
Okay,
they've got backstory. They have, they're you can actually be sympathetic with them.
Okay.
They're not just evil to be evil, or whatever.
They're not just there to save the world from devastation.
Right, exactly.
So, those are the things I've been playing, and on deck, I'm going to try to get some other games done. I have a stream. I want to stream a preview of Thunderful's game, Wavetail. That's the one Justin played on Stadia.
Stadia.
Yes, he's played that one there, but I got the code to check it out on the Switch, so I'll be doing a stream of that probably this upcoming weekend. I also want to play more of Yoku's Island Express so I can finish that for the backlog Monthly Mayhem, which I'll be bringing up more in Community Spotlight if you haven't heard already. And then also we have our Retro Logic side. Those guys over there are still doing retro rewinds, and for December they're doing The Legend of Valkyrie. It's an arcade archives game that they're doing for the month of December, and I've decided to try that out and see how that goes. So
I totally thought that was a different game. I got it confused with Valkyria Chronicles. I was like, oh, yeah, that's not the game.
not the same.
Yeah, Jesse, what about you? What have you been playing?
Right. So, I've been playing Pokemon Scarlet, and my past history with Pokemon mainline games is either I get stalled around the second or third gym, or I finish it. And I am about to enter the 8th gym. So that tells.
So we see where that goes. We see where that's going.
Yeah, and in fact, that where I am now, you mentioned that the tunnel full of level 40s, and before we recorded, I'm like, once I find a way out of this cave and get to a Pokemon Center, I'll start the show. That was the same cave.
Nice.
So yeah, so the gym on the other side of that cave is where I'm at now, and that's my 8th gym. I've completed.
Oh, wow.
I've completed 4 out of the 5 Titans, and I've completed 3 out of the 5 Starfalls.
You've been playing a lot more than me.
Yeah, so I'm around 20 hours.
For sure, when you get there, if you can only fight each Elite Four member once.
That I don't know. I haven't gotten there yet.
Well, that's what I read prior to launch. That the Elite Four,
my son probably knows the answer to that question, but I'm trying to prevent myself from seeing spoilers. I heard the ending is actually really amazing, but we'll find out when I get there.
That's what's keeping me involved too. Is like I heard that, and also these little bits that we get through while we're playing is keeping me going too. So I want to know more. That's why I'm playing.
I have some theory. Oh, and so some of the characters are really mysterious. So like,
yes,
the professors, either one of the two, depending on what version. You've never seen, at least at this point of the game, you've never seen them face to face. You've only seen them on a Zoom call at the start of the game, and then you only talk to them on your Rotom phone. And there's another character that talks to you kind of like a covertly, before and after doing the Team Star events. I have a suspicion of who that really is, but since I don't know yet, I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah, please don't spoil.
Yeah, but yeah, so this game has got my attention. I am definitely going to finish it. Hopefully I can finish it within a week, because next week Dragon Quest Treasures comes out. So yeah,
that's a goal.
I think I'm on track. Because since I have 14 out of the 18 badges. So
yeah, that reminds me, I need to try to finish this before the 13th, because that's when High on Life comes out, and I want to play that.
Is that the one with the talking gun that sounds like
yes
Morty?
Yes.
Oh, that's going to be annoying to watch videos for. Probably fun to play, but it'll be annoying to watch. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about, something that Blanco pointed out to me. I think he did it last year. It's a website called adventofcode.com. So it's like an advent calendar for programmers, where each day you'll be given 2 programming challenges, and then you solve them to get points or stars, and then the next you go. It starts off pretty easy, and then they get more and more challenging as it goes to the 25th is the last day, and it started today, and today was pretty easy. I submitted an incorrect solution just because I misread what they wanted, and then John laughed at me. Anyway, so I started an Advent of Code room in our Discord, and I kind of plugged it there. And I also started a private leaderboard because the public leaderboard kind of sucks. Because I did this around 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock this morning, and I was the 80,000th person to submit an answer. You only get points for the public leaderboard if you're the top 100. If you are the 101st or later, and being 80,000 hours much later, you get 0. So the public leaderboard is kind of worthless unless you're there, right at midnight Eastern when the next one posts. Right. So it created a private leaderboard where, they still have whoever submits it first gets most points, but really we're focusing on the number of stars. You get 1 star for every solution you provide, so a total of 50 if you do them all. 2 per day, and that's so if you're on the Discord and you're a developer and want to check out the site, check out the room, and I have look at the pinned messages in that room and for the URL to the site and the code to get into the private leaderboard. Is like already 4 people in it last I checked.
You put that under the leagues category, right?
I put it in the leagues category.
Leagues category, yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this website doesn't have an in-browser IDE, so you can use whatever coding environment you want. Yeah, you pretty much download their file of test data, use that to run in whatever environment you want to get an output, and then once you have your output, then you plug that into the problems page, and it'll tell you if you're right or wrong. And then I don't know if they're all going to be like this, but the second question for today was basically based off of the first question. So I didn't have to write a whole new program. I just needed to make some tweaks to the original program to get the second answer. So if you like programming for fun, give that a look.
And next year they'll release the website Codal, which will quickly be bought by the New York Times and then ruined.
Yes.
Right.
Well, let me talk about what I've been playing. Pokemon Violet, for sure. That's what I've been spending most of my time in. We've already kind of talked about that. I'm having fun with it despite the technical problems. I also picked up A Little to the Left, despite Jesse's warnings about the control scheme, and I kind of enjoy it. It's a very zen game despite the cat. I haven't gotten too far into it. I just downloaded it yesterday and played for the first time tonight, waiting to start the show. So I haven't gotten really far into it. But if you liked unboxing or unpacking, I think was the name of that game, you'll like this. If you like putting things in order.
I tried unpacking on Xbox and didn't really like it much.
Yeah. I've also been, because my son has been playing this game, I've got the Dead Cells bug again. He started playing it again because of the update that added like Shovel Knights, and lots of various indie games like armor and weapons. And there's even ways you could like play as them, like in certain rooms and challenges that are those people. But I don't know, like I just forgot, I guess, how awesome a game Dead Cells was. And the bug has bit me hard, and I'm playing it, and like I'm trying to play it and Rogue Legacy 2 at the same time, which is messing with my head. Because
right. So
they're similar, but they play different.
So Dead Cells bugs can bite you, but Pokemon bugs cannot.
Yeah, I don't like Pokemon bugs. They're terrible. All Pokemon that are bugs should go die in a fire. I'm done with that. I hate bugs.
I hate that little grasshopper by the way.
Yes, the nimble, the one that's really tiny, and you run over him.
You're
and
running over, and then you don't
here's the
see
deal.
it, and then
I'm
you're
on
like
a
all of a sudden in a
giant
battle with it.
Listen, I am on a giant dragon motorcycle.
Exactly.
I should crush that thing.
And then stop.
Why am I not? Like what? Nope. You've got to fight your 15th millionth nimble.
Yeah, like sand slot or
run them over.
Fungus. There's a lot of little small, tiny little ones that you just you don't see.
I would
especially
just
in the tall grass.
I would like the option, like for me to get off Meridon and just punt Fungus like a football, like into the distance. Like he just flies away, and there's like the little bling, bling.
And I approve of yeeting.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, that could be a TM, the yeet machine. I love it.
Yes.
I've also been playing a game that I'm going to have a video up on our channel of here fairly soon called Railbound, which is a puzzle game involving trains. You're trying to get the cars attached to the trains in the right order. And as you progress, you're laying down track. You're either connecting track and adding to it, or you're severing connections that have already been made and like rerouting it. I love the aesthetic of it. It's like a little cell shaded cartoony thing, like the conductor is a dog, and music's pretty good. I mean, it's a pretty simple game, but the difficulty in like the actual like braining, the thinking of the game actually ratchets up pretty quick. And you go from having one car to having two, and then you go to tunnels, and then now you've got switches and all kinds, that they have to run over before they get here. And each of a lot of the levels have like a B side. It's almost like a Celeste type B side that you unlock by beating it. And you get to go back and redo the challenge with different parameters, different things like that. But it's out. It came out today. If you like logic puzzles like that, I think it's pretty cool. Also over Thanksgiving, my son and one of his friends, they were playing Switch at the house, so they were hanging out, and I was like, "Hey Isaac, have you ever showed Ben the stretchers?" Because they were looking for games to play, and he was like, "I forgot we had it." And so now we have fallen back into the stretchers. Like my daughter wants to play. I want to play. I had forgotten how hilariously goofy this game is. It is fantastic for co-op play on the Switch. Basically, you're medics that are like sent to different things where people have gotten the dizzies because this guy who used to work with you is now a villain and he's making everybody dizzy. So you have to go pick them up with a stretcher, get them, like one player is controlling one side of the stretcher, the other is controlling the other, and you have to like go through all these obstacles and things, uncover hidden stuff, drive the ambulance, that's the best part of the game. Like you're flying through walls and all mowing down cornfields and to get back to the hospital and get the best score. It's so good. I can't recommend it enough. It's a great family title.
It sounds like fun.
And I don't normally do this when we talk about what we've been playing. I want to talk about something I've been playing with. Okay. I picked up right the week of Thanksgiving. I picked up these for the Switch, which are the Hori split pad compact.
Yes, I want to hear about these.
You've seen the split pad Pro, that kind of has the like handle part that comes down. This is more of like, if you're familiar with like the Skull and Co grip or something that didn't add the handles but had like a ridge for you to hold on to. These are awesome. These are excellent. I highly recommend this. In fact, I will say right here on this left Joy-Con, this is the best D-pad out that you can buy right now. All right, like real D-pad. Now, these are not able to be used in any other mode than handheld mode, but I did find out on Hori's website tonight that there is a wired, basically bridge that goes between these that provides them power and allows them to sync to the Switch. It does have to be plugged into the dock itself. Like you can't plug it into a charger and like plug it into the wall and hope that it'll work. It has to be plugged into the Switch so it'll recognize these. But I bought them mainly because I have the Mega Man version of these, the Pros, and I love it. But I love grip style Joy-Cons, right? Like I've got a Satisfy grip on my Switch right now, but it's like I'm always taking it out, putting it back in, taking it out, putting it back in. These actually work with the Satisfy case and don't really make it like bulked up too much. So I can just put it in there and zip it up and go. And I don't have like that bulky shell, you know. They feel great in the hands. Audio listeners can't, audio people, podcast people can't see this, but they have two buttons on the bottom on the face of each Joy-Con that say assign and turbo. And that's because on the back end of these, there's these toggle bumpers that you can assign to any button on the front. And it's very easy to do. What you do is you hold the assign button down, and then you press the back bumper, and then you press the button you want to assign it to. And it remembers it as long as you're playing. Like as long as they're connected, it remembers it. Or you can turn it off. So like what I do is I make these back bumpers my weapon toggles like swaps in Fortnite. So I'm not like doing it up on top. I just have that for triggers. The buttons on the right Joy-Con, like for Y, X, A, and B, they're big. They're solid feeling. The sticks actually have this rubberized grip already in them. So they feel great too. I don't see any downside to these at all, except for the fact that they have to be handheld. But I play 75% handheld, so these are great. Also, another great thing about these, you don't have to take them off to fit your Switch in the dock. Some split, pads and Joy-Cons make you do that. These actually have a ridge right here on the edge that actually conforms like it's meant so that you can put it in the dock. So I highly recommend these. Walmart had them. They had this, and they had like a pinkish color, and they had a one that was like Mimikyu and Pikachu. There's also a Gengar version that's really awesome. That is out of stock everywhere right now. But Walmart had them for $49.99. They're on Hori's suggested retail price is $59.99. So if you buy them at Walmart, you get $10 off. But I would highly, highly, highly recommend the Hori Split Pad Compact. It's a great grip alternative for your Switch. So there you go. Hope that made you want to buy them, Tim.
I actually had them on. Hopefully nobody in my family is listening right now. On people's Christmas lists for this year. One of each of the ones you just said for each of the family members. So
okay. Look, for kids too, like younger kids, I think these are great for smaller hands.
Yeah.
Because they in the back too, I didn't mention this, that like where it comes up to, it's like there's a ridge on the back. So it kind of like fits into the natural way you're going to hold your Switch anyway. It's not flat on the back. It's kind of like a gentle rise, and that kind of fits your fingers better and gives it more grip and stability. Nice. And another thing that I found when they're slotted in on my Switch, they feel very solid. Like there's not a lot of wobble.
Oh, that's
like
good.
Like before. And they're
good.
I will say this for our video viewers, you can check this out. They do make the Switch very wide. But at this point, any kind of grip like this is going to do that.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, but even like I was showing I got the Skull and Company.
Yeah. It doesn't stick out the sides like yours does, though. So this is just, it's
but
kind
your
of
Joy-Cons are wider.
Yeah. And so these are, they're a little bit, they're more wide than the Joy-Con, probably half an inch, but kind of whitish gray on the front with darker gray buttons and sticks. And it's like a muted yellow on the back. It does not stick out at all. It looks really sleek.
I was also asking if that glows in the dark.
Too. It does not. You would think it did, but like it kind of looks like, how like when things glow in the dark, how they're.
Yeah.
But I've had it in the bedroom, playing while I should be sleeping. And
he also asks, is there auto fire on it?
Yes, turbo.
All right, there you go.
Right here on both ones, and you can set anything to turbo. So there you go.
Nice.
So yeah, they're really great. I love them.
I wanted to go back to Pokemon real quick.
They didn't pay me to say that.
Okay. Something that I found when I had about 140 Pokemon in my collection. My son found when he was over 200. But if you, and I think I have like 200, 210 now. Um, if you go, if you're at the Pokedex screen, if you look in the lower left corner, you'll see something that says like X to see your trophies or whatever, and there'll be like a small exclamation mark saying you can redeem something. So for every 10 that you add to your decks, then the game will just give you free items. So if you haven't seen that yet, go in and check it, because I didn't see it until 140. My son didn't see it until over 200. So we were able to collect a whole bunch of things. And
In the Pokédex.
With what my son told me of what he gets for collecting 400, it's a big hint to what will be in DLC. So I won't say anything more than that.
You said this was where in the Pokédex?
In the Pokédex where you if you select the top item and then you see like a bookshelf full of the collection.
Oh yes. Oh,
then you can push
button.
X, and then you can just redeem everything that you're able to redeem.
Congratulations, your Pokédex now contains 10 volumes. In celebration of your achievement, here are 3 bags of Stardust. Oh, yep. Now your Pokédex now contains 20 volumes. You get 10 Great Balls. All right.
Ms. says, thanks. I just did that. No way I would have seen that. So you probably would have seen it once you got 150 or 200 down. That's how long it took me and my son to see them.
Nice. Of course, you guys also probably, because it's by volume, it's like when you're collecting all the volumes and stuff, you get things quicker. You guys concentrate on getting, or at least Matt does concentrate on getting a lot of Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
So that's probably why there would be tons of volumes there, where I'm just like trying to get through and battle to maybe do a little grinding. But
I remember I found a beach that I didn't have any moves left. I was trying to get to a Pokemon Center to heal up, and but I'm like there was about 30 Mon that I haven't seen yet. I'm like, I need to go back to that beach, and I haven't gotten around to going back to that beach. And now it's going to be hard because my entire party is at least level 50, so it'll one round even with a not effective attack. If anyone in their 20s and 30s, so I'm going to have to throw in weaker Pokemon just so I don't knock them out.
That's the worst, when you're like trying to catch a Pokemon and it's like you've seen it for the first time and you're like, oh man, here it is. And then you knock it out in one hit. It's like, what the crap, man?
Yeah,
like
I have a Talonflame as my lead, and even though the game wants me to get rid of it, I've been keeping Peck, which is like the lowest attack flying move, so to lower the chance of me just knocking them out in one hit.
That's smart.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, that's what we've been playing. Let's move on to the community spotlight.
All right, everybody. This is where we concentrate on our awesome community and note all the things that our community is doing, including our family of podcasts. But before we do that, I wanted to remind everybody that we had our Extra Life at the beginning of November. We were accepting donations until the end of November. And of course, now that it being December 2nd and on, that we are not accepting donations for prizes anymore. You can still donate until the end of the year, and we happily will take that so that we can still reach our ultimate goal of $11,233. I think we're just shy of maybe what was it, 500 or something like that of getting to that goal. But yeah, so we're still taking donations. If you are capable of doing that, that would be awesome. But again, we have to cut off the prize pool so that we can start putting together those prizes and pulling the drawings. So we'll be doing that in the coming weeks. I will be communicating that in our Discord. And then if you are a winner and if you donated and you're a winner and I have your email address, I'll be contacting you. So keep an eye out for those type of things. If you were anonymous, unfortunately, we can't give our anonymous donors anything because anonymous means we don't know who you are, but we thank you for your donations.
That's exactly what anonymous means too.
Yes. But if you want to be counted towards that, unfortunately it's too late. So, but just keep that in mind if you're anonymous. But again, I think you already knew that. If you're anonymous and you donated, you probably already knew you weren't going to get prizes and probably didn't care. You just wanted to help. So we really appreciate that. All right, on to the NINDADS Family Podcast Spotlight. Again, we have multiple shows in our family of podcasts. We have Game Pass News, we have Dad's After Dark show, and we have the Retro Logic shows, which has their own family of podcasts. So if you're into Xbox, you go to Game Pass News and listen to Nick and Sean go over several things about Game Pass, Xbox, all that kind of stuff. It's the place to go if you're overwhelmed with Game Pass releases. They will help guide you. Dad's After Dark show is the show you listen to after the kids are in bed and the wife is distracted, and John and Drew are the people you want to go and listen to talk about video games and dad stuff that we can't talk about on this show because we're family friendly. They are not, which makes them a lot of fun. We have fun, but they are a lot of fun too. Their show drops every Monday night with an occasional, every other Monday night with an occasional episode in between. And then we have Retro Logic shows. Their family of shows include Retro Logic itself, which they talk about retro gaming. That's Dan, John, and Sam. They've been doing that for some time now. Go check them out if you're into retro gaming collecting. Then you have On Topic Retro, which John from Retro Logic does in-depth overview of discussions about specific retro games. And then he'll have guests on from the community or other podcasts to talk about those specific games as well. Then there's Retro Groove, which has Adam and Liam. Liam has done some reviews for us. So if you've watched some of our YouTube reviews, he's done some of those, especially music type related reviews. But Retro Groove does, they talk about music from all generations and types. And in fact, I think upcoming this month, they have some Christmas stuff they're going to be talking about as well. And then their newest, Retro Logic's newest podcast is called Film Logic, which has Mike Eston, who's solo something in our community, and myself talking about films that we've been watching and shows we've been watching, which is also endorsed by Brad William Pitt, if you didn't know. So we're famous. So go listen to those shows if you can. If you're looking for other things to listen to, any of those topics should be able to cover those things. But go to the nintendodads.org to see all the NINDADS family of podcasts, Spotify feeds for the main shows, and go to your favorite podcasting app and subscribe to them there. You can also find all of them on Twitter, Twitch, and or YouTube. So please give them all a follow. Some of our shows also do contests, and that includes Dad's After Dark show, which has been doing our monthly mayhem for years now. If anybody's been around for a long time, they used to call them tournaments, but they've been doing monthly mayhem for a long time now, and they currently have a Beat Your Backlog tournament going on until December 22nd, where basically you pick a game that you've owned that's over 1 year old, but you haven't touched yet, and your goal is to beat it, roll credits, and then you come into the Discord and basically give a story about the game and a review of it, and then you will be put into the pool of them deciding who the winner is to get a $15 eShop card. And then, of course, they always do a lotto draw for somebody to win $10 eShop card. So monthly mayhem is always awesome. This one's ending on December 22nd, so that they can get ready for their next season in the new year. Dad's After Dark show is also running our community's Presents After Dark, which I talked about before, is the basically Secret Santa thing. So the Secret Santa thing has been done as far as everybody joining in. People have to send their presents by December 11th. And we're hoping to talk about it, like I said, in our Discord at the dinner table at 9 p.m. on the 16th. So this month is going to be a 1 hour early show so that we can all, whoever's got their presents, can start sharing and talking about what they got and hopefully got some cool things. So looking forward to that. And again, we also have Bounty Board that the Dads After Dark show does. So you have to listen to their show to hear what bounties they have for prizes that they post on those. In fact, if you know, we had one that was going so long for the Lego Star Wars game that we bumped it up because it was a high thing. We thought it was a very difficult thing to do to get all those, was it Kyber crystals? There was a high number you had to get. And Justin was like, look, this has been out here for a long time. We'll give you $100 if you can get this bounty. And sure enough, I think it was Ebiso who got that one. There hasn't been $100 one yet, but they do bounties that give you eShop credit. So keep an eye on there.
There was one that they were just recently retired with Shovel Knight Dig that nobody was able to do, right?
Yes. Listen to their show to get the bounties. Go to their Twitter to also keep up on their Dads After Dark show stuff.
My son just claimed one of their bounties.
Yep, for a shiny, right? So collecting a shiny in Pokemon. Game Pass News also has the Achievement Hunters, where you can also win a prize with Xbox credit, I believe. So go check out their stuff on their Twitter page. They always keep that stuff posted there. And both the shows keep stuff posted in the Discord as well. All right, with that, let's move on to the community questions that we got over the past couple weeks. Starting with the questions we got in Discord, we got one from Jamie. He asks, should the Game Awards be shifted to January, February, rather than having it in November? Actually, December to be exact. But we get the nominations in November, so I get what he's trying to say. While it makes sense from an award perspective, it would affect the opportunity for advertisers to bring forward their push for putting holiday games in front of the watching audience and for developers to show off their trailers in front of a massive crowd. What do you guys think? Should they continue to have the awards show in December, or do you think it'd be best if they do the awards show with the others in January and February? Award show season, like we always hear.
People who have been watching the Game Awards as long as we have, basically since day one, knows that they don't even take their own awards seriously. So why the hell should we? If they did, then yeah, moving it to January, February would make sense. That way, it gives the December games a chance to be also included instead of having to wait the following year. Like Smash Brothers had to wait a whole a year to be included, and I think they did win something, but normally December games are forgotten and not announced.
Yes, Jedi Fallen Order I think was one of those games that was forgotten about, or just unfortunately had to go up against other games that were better.
Yeah, so
that following year.
This is effectively a 4-hour commercial. So yeah, that's why it's beginning of December, is to get the commercials out, so to get people buying games for the holidays. So they would have to take their awards more seriously and make it less commercial for it to be really, before it has a chance to get a more appropriate slot.
Are they ready to do that though?
No. I don't think they ever will.
They're not. I really like the idea of the Game Awards being like a big celebration and a big party, hey, all the game developers are together, we're here, we love video games, we're having fun. If it was just that and it was just recognizing different games for technical achievements or things like that as far as the awards, I would be okay with that. Not so much of best indie debut. Well, okay, or best game of the year, and God of War Ragnarok's only been out 3 weeks.
Best esports coach. Like, who the hell cares?
Right. But hey, Jesse,
esports people do.
You can't say that because that's gaming too, and everybody's a gamer. Even if you play Candy Crush on your phone for 400 hours, you're a gamer.
But that doesn't mean you care about the coaches.
Right. Well, but anyway, I don't know. I think keep it where it is. Like we've even shifted our approach to the Game Awards this year that we're not even going to like live react to it, live stream it, watch it.
Because every time
there's really nothing ever Nintendo related.
We get claims on YouTube, and it's a hassle to deal with. And so what was the plan? And this could be different if I'm wrong, but I think we're still gonna watch. We're gonna watch the Game Awards independently. We'll do a show afterwards on the same night, so it'll be a later show. So
it'll be a later show with. And that way we're able to
Eastern.
talk about anything, but we are not like doing the Game Awards and then doing a show.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. In past years, if we've live reacted to the Game Awards, we didn't have a show that week because that would have been ugly. So doing this still might be ugly because it still means I'm sitting in this chair for 8 hours after having sitting in this chair for 8 hours.
Right.
But at least I'm not at least we're not streaming the entire time. So yeah.
Right. No. It's
so we'll still be able to talk about current news in addition to what happened in the Game Awards. But I think
the Game Awards is going to be the main chunk of that probably. So
yeah.
And we'll be jumping right in to talk about it as soon as we can. And I think they run over sometimes, but we'll see. We'll see how it works out.
Not often. They're normally pretty good at their time.
That's true. It's true. But yep, we'll instead of that night, instead of starting at 10 Eastern, we'll be starting at 11 Eastern. So, all right. Next question is from John, Dad's After Dark Show. John, he says, "Hey dads, Drew is shaming me because the final boss of Rogue Legacy 2 was so hard and unfair and broken and ridiculous that I used the house rule settings to have his HP and beat him that way. My question this week is, have you ever been in an abusive relationship and were called names like loser or fake gamer when you lowered the difficulty right at the end of the game? And when you try to tell someone else about it, your partner disconnected your inner..." Apparently he got disconnected. So
what I'm getting here is that the dark in Dad's After Dark is not just about like a physical time or the amount of light. We're really dark here. We've gone to a dark place.
Yep. Drew is being abusive apparently to John. For the way he's playing. And Drew did come in later, and I forgot to put this down. He did come in and said that he beat it.
I just beat the first boss of Rogue Legacy 2 after 400 what felt like 400 billion tries. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
You know, the last boss. Like it's going to be
apparently there's some house rule settings to help tweak the game to the way you like to play, I guess. So
yeah, accessibility.
Yep. So, but I'm, obviously those guys like to have fun. But if anybody out there is getting abused by their community or other gamers, we always said that we always supported play the way you want to play to have fun. So if you want to play, like I played Jedi Fallen Order in story mode. I didn't play it in normal mode. And I had a blast with that game.
And
so,
and this is an opinion that is highly unliked on the internet, but give Dark Souls an easy mode. I said it.
Yep.
At me, bro.
Yep.
That's Justin at
I still won't play it, but make it easier for other people who want to.
Email Justin at nintendodads.org for your complaints.
Yep.
That's HR. All right. Mecha says, how
far...
I
should set that up as an email address, hr@nintendodads.org. I can do that.
Asks, how far do you guys go if your child asks you for help in a game, say like beating a level, for example? Do you do it for them or let them know they have to figure it out or beat it themselves?
This actually happened to me multiple times when my kids were younger. And pretty much every time I would say, you need to learn how to do this on your own because the game's just going to get harder and I'm not going to play the game for you. I have my own things to play. They didn't like the answer, but I think it deterred my daughters a little bit from gaming, but I think that's encouraged Matthew to be able to do what he can do today. I do remember trying to play Final Fantasy IV on the DS. He tried to play it, and he didn't know what to do because at the time he was 7 years old, barely able to read, and didn't want to when he had chances to. So I'm like, well, did you read to know what you're supposed to do? No, well, that's what the text is for.
Yeah.
You need to read.
I say that a lot too. Did you read it? No? Okay, well, sorry. I will help, but what I've done is mainly more along the lines of you hold it like you're playing. I'm talking you through this, right? Like, or saying, have you tried blank, or have you did you do this, or what about if we did this? And now it's my son doing it to me. Like I'll be playing a puzzle on something, and he's like, if you just go here, 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 and here, it's done. And I'm like, did you do that? Like, because a lot of times, like you get into it and like you can kind of see what's supposed to happen, but you get in your head and you can't really like you've been playing for so long, you can't get there. Right. But he just walks in the room. It's like, oh, just go up, down, left, right, and you're done. I'm like, what the crap, dude?
I think I said Dragon Quest 4 in my story, but I meant Final Fantasy 4.
Yeah, for my kids, it was kind of all of the above that you guys mentioned, and it also depended on their age, and it depended on the situation in the game. So I basically I give them opportunity to tell me what the problem is, because I don't want them to just say, here, get me through it. I'm like, okay, tell me what's going on. So gives them the opportunity to try to explain it. And usually I've had situations when they sat there and tried to explain it to me. They're like, oh, wait, I didn't try this. They figured it out themselves as they're trying to explain it to me what the problem is. So there's a level of problem solving that they're learning on their own there. But
I see a lot of that in coding too. Just trying to talk through the problem with someone else, you find the problem.
Exactly. Situations like Marty was saying, did you read it? Those type of things. And I think that comes with what our kids experience, because when they're younger, obviously they're learning how to deal with their ADHD, or they're the type of gamer that just likes to go through and play. They don't want to read. They just want to play. So, and then I constantly always had to tell Sammy when he was younger, if he chose to play a game that required a lot of reading, I always told him, this requires a lot of reading for you to understand what to do in the game, or what to do next, or what to do in the future. You're going to have to read. So, and there was a few times he just chose to go ahead and play it, and then he'd come back and ask for help. And I'd ask that question, did you read it? And he'll say, no, I just want to do this. And it's like, nope, you have to read it. You have to understand what's going on. And then there's times I even said, like, I don't remember, or I didn't play this game, so I don't know what to do for you. So, but it's more or less a lot of times it's trying to help them troubleshoot or problem solve the situation themselves. So,
well, and it just makes us proud, when we're they're at the end of it and they do it.
Yes, for
and
sure.
You're like, see, and then the next time, they get better and better and better. The skill level goes up.
And then
right?
They're way better than I am at games. Like you were saying, Marty, it's like, just go here, here, and here. All right. Great question, Mecca. Hopefully that helps. But I think what you were saying is that you were on the he needs to learn from himself part. But again, and your sister was saying he was 6. So he's 6. And what game is he playing? It all depends on the situation. So not some of these situations that we mentioned aren't going to fit that same thing you're mentioning. So it's all going to depend on what that game is, what that kid's reading level is, if it involves reading, what that kid's gaming level is too. If he's 6, is he asking for help with The Souls game.
I think he said earlier it was New Super Mario Brothers U
Okay.
Deluxe on the Switch.
All right. Yep. Yeah, there's a lot that could be said there, and not even our answers will cover it. So
not that one doesn't need reading, but definitely has dexterity and skill.
Yep. And that's a whole other side of it too. All right, Chris HL94, at what age do you encourage your kids to pay for their own games? Do they need a job of their own or an allowance? How do they get games? How do you encourage your kids to buy their own games?
I answered this in the Discord, but I'll say it here too. Really, the only time I've really said, no, I am not buying this. If you want it, you have to buy it yourself, was Grand Theft Auto 5, which also then meant they had to wait until they were 17.
Right.
And 2 out of their 3 kids did just that. My oldest daughter and my son both bought the game once they turned 17. Nice. They, at the time, they each had their own jobs at that point and were able to pay for it. But other than that, pretty much if they wanted the game and I was okay with it, I bought it for them. I didn't require them. They didn't get jobs of their own until they were 16 or 17 anyway, and they never really had an allowance.
My son and daughter have had an allowance for years. And we maybe do something a little bit different than a lot of parents do. We encourage our kids to take their money and save 10% and give 10%. Okay, so if they got $10, they were going to save $1 and give $1. Okay, so that left them with $8 to do whatever they wanted to. They can buy candy with it. They can, because we want to teach them money management and responsibility, even from a young age. So it used to be, that we had it's you're 6, so you get $6 a month, or you're 8, so you get $8 a month, or you're 10. So now that they're a little bit older, my son's almost 16, my daughter's 14. They get a set amount of money each month. They get, I think it's $30 a month. And they can choose what to do with that. Now, $6 of that is going to be set aside, 10%, right? So we're going to set aside $6 of that. So they really get $24, which, I mean, my son, a lot of times he's like, hey, that's a game on the eShop, or that's a game on Steam, or I can save it up and do whatever I want to with it. But because I feel like I'm kind of in a unique situation. I know a situation not everybody would be in, because we get a lot of our games like as codes, or because we reimburse a lot of games. I don't mind spending money on games every now and then. Like Pokemon came out, we're going to buy the double pack and he's going to get one of those. All right. My daughter doesn't care. Now, she's not a gamer. Like, she has Animal Crossing and Clubhouse games on her Switch. And like every night before she goes to bed, she plays Yacht Dice and looks after her island, and she's done. She's good. All right. Like, she's playing on my OG Switch. It's like, she'll be fine until she probably won't get the next system. Yeah, I don't know. But she does get interested in the game here or there. Like, I tried, but like, I asked her about Disney Dreamlight Valley, and she was like, yeah, that's cool, but it's kind of like Animal Crossing, and I'm already playing that. So she's not really the needy one. My son, he, like, every day he's like, hey Dad, this game's out, it's cool. So we do make him like, if it's a game that this is gonna sound funny, but I'll say it. If it's a game that I think is stupid or dumb, I make him spend his own money on it. Like, I'm like, you want to do what? You want to buy Left 4 Dead for 99 cents on Steam so that you can add mods to it so that the zombies look like Waluigi? Okay, yeah, you're spending your own money on that. Which is his recent purchase. That's what he did.
Yeah.
When he built his PC, I don't care. I hate PC gaming. I think it's stupid. So guess what? You're saving up the money, or you're earning the money, and you are going to build your own PC. That's what he did. I want to give my kids good things. I want to encourage them to I want them to have fun. I want to provide for them, but I also want to encourage them to have some financial stability. And I will say this to my son's credit, he is 15 years old and he is begging people to hire him right now.
Yeah.
He was supposed to have an interview at Wendy's this past week, and the manager didn't show up to interview him.
Nice.
And that sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, in a time where we gotta have work, Well, here he is. He wants to get hired. Let him work part-time. It's
Right.
just, but when he turns 16, he's going to get a job. So I'm all for that.
Right. Nice. Yeah, we have different percentages, but we do basically the same thing with the allowances and stuff. And Sammy, his focus is almost every week he wants to spend his limited amount of money on an eShop game. So that's usually the cheaper, games that he may or may not, that they may or may not be good games. But I've been trying to convince him. He's been coming at me with trying to, recently he wanted to play, but I forget which game it was. It was a $60 game. It was coming up. And I told him every time he'd ask me every week, I want to buy this game, because I would have to put the credit on the eShop for him to buy it. I'd be like, no, remember, you're trying to save for the $60 game. So you can't buy that game.
We gotta have reminders at our house too. Hey, this is coming
wanted
up.
This game coming up, so you got to save that money. But I want this game now. It's like, you told me you really wanted the $60 game, so I'm telling you no to help you out.
Yeah,
and I think I kind of do it the same way you do, Marty. It's like, that game sounds stupid. No, you don't. You need to save.
You want to spend money on Roblox? No.
Oh my gosh,
No.
he came at me with that too recently, because he's got it on his tablet.
We're not buying Roblox.
He's like, I want to buy Roblox money, and I was like, no, no.
But Dad, look, son, I'm saving you from yourself.
Right, you want to buy this more expensive game.
Yeah, and in the past, I said when a Pokemon like X and Y came out, and I said I bought 4 copies, one for me and one for each of the kids. So, and people thought that was kind of silly, but that's the way we play it. And even with Scarlet and Violet, I bought 3 copies, one for myself and one for each of the daughters. And then my son bought his own version. So,
well, and look, and 2, here's the thing: with buying stuff for your kids, I think we get a lot of codes, but we've got greats, family who will buy my kids games for Christmas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Christmas and birthdays, they'll get extra
my son.
money.
Yeah, my son's got God of War Ragnarok on his Christmas list. He's probably going to get it from somebody. But that was one where it was like, dude, I haven't beaten the first one yet. I'm still working my way through it. I know. I know some people just went, what? You haven't played God of War? Yeah, I know. I
haven't played it yet either. Actually,
so here's the deal. Honestly, I'm working my way through it, and I said, okay, you can buy it with your own money. That's fine, but you don't have a lot right now. But also, number 2, if I'm not gonna play. I want to finish the first one, so that when you get it, I can jump into the second one, and that'll be his game.
Yeah, I haven't played the second one, and I have it there, and I'm just like, I've been playing all this Nintendo stuff, so I knew that was going to happen anyway. So it'll be there when I'm ready to get to it.
yeah,
I just had to get over the FOMO on it.
I tried renting God of War from a Redbox back when they did games, and that's when I got a photocopy of the disc in a box.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that story.
And it's situations like that is why they don't rent games anymore.
Right?
All right. So here's our last one from Twitter, and it's from Funchy, DeFunchy Bunch. First off,
Bunch.
I don't see the duh part, so that's why I'm thrown off.
Well, on Twitter, he's DeFunchy Bunch.
Oh, okay, it says Funchy Bunch here. All right, so DeFunchy Bunch. First off, I just want to say it's pronounced DeFunchy, and it means nothing, just something my brain made up. Now then, hello again, daddies. I believe that word was okayed by Jesse last time. Haha.
Actually, I said I didn't like that, but I can't stop you.
But basically, I want to ask about you guys do when making content. What equipment or programs do you use? I make my own videos with two of my best friends, also not asking for shout outs. If anyone cares, they can find me. And the thing I struggle with most is audio. Usually because we can be very rambunctious and loud and our audio peaks a lot. Any help would be great. I'm curious about what Justin does too as a voice actor who must have more sound equipment. No. One of my co-hosts has done some VO work, but I don't have the space for too large a setup, and we tend to record at my place for convenience. I always loved how you guys were a small channel that only y'all run. Very nice punk rock indie feel. Also, what was it like setting up the live stream stuff in New York? Well, you got to have a wizard. That's what you got to have.
You gotta have a wizard.
I've done charity live streams in the past with my friend, and I always stay up the whole night, but I'm an insomniac. Usually everyone else will take naps, but not me. This year we raised $701 for Boston Children's Network, but I was sad because I couldn't be there with my friends, so I only helped with background stream stuff by 3 a.m. He was struggling to stay up, but it was pretty funny for me to watch him try. Also, my material can be very Dads After Dark-esque, so shout outs to them and warning to all you who find me. So first part is, what kind of equipment are we using for everybody to hear our lovely voices?
Each of us has like our own separate microphone that varies in price and quality. I think we've slowly been increasing the quality over the years. Mine is my mic. I think is like 4 years old now and still seems to work really pretty well.
What kind of mic is it? Is it a blue mic?
No, I'm trying to read this upside down. It's Audio Technica.
Okay.
I bought it off Amazon. I could probably find the exact model, but this model isn't available anymore. But I'm sure they have similar newer models.
And what headphones are you using?
See, I don't even. These are ones I actually got as a review, and I obviously like.
They're the EPOS ones, right?
I don't find any markings on what the brand is anywhere on here, so I don't know.
I believe it's the EPOS ones. I just don't remember which model ones they are too.
Yeah, and then I have a pretty complicated setup for the audio, which is how I'm able to do things like that gets recorded, and I hear it and they hear it without registering more than once in any one place to generate an echo. But I think so like my mic is directly goes into OBS, and then it gets the audio from the other two or three people from the Zoom's output. So I think that helps with some of the peaking and popping. But when I use OBS to record the audio, and at the end of the show, I'll run it through the Audacity's compressor function, which will also help with some noise leveling. So like normally my microphone, it picks up my voice at a lower volume than Zoom's audio for everyone else, so that sort of balances it. So yeah, a lot of that's really the only post processing I do. I used to do noise removal, also post processing, but I started using Crisp about a year ago, which does real time noise canceling, and that's like good enough. I've never had to do another round of noise canceling in Audacity, because if you do, that degrades. If you do it enough times, that degrades the audio and it sounds like mush. So yeah,
Yep.
so
a lot of magic that Jesse does.
Most of the audio magic is stuff that I do. Yeah.
Yep. We just sit here and talk through these mics. Like my mic is the Wave 3 from Elgato. That was coming from a blue Nessie mic that I had. They no longer make. And it was starting to do crackling noises and do all kinds of weird stuff. So I had to move up to this because Justin uses this one and he's always liked this, as well as Sean Capri uses the Wave 3 and others as well. They all like this one because I was asking around, which ones do you like? Which ones should I get? And also looking at price. And so I got this whole setup between the mic.
You just muted
Sorry,
yourself.
I just muted myself. The microphone and the arm that has, and then I use my SteelSeries headphones, which are plugged in here. So these are the Arctis 3s. They don't make these anymore because now they're making Novas. So that's the next best thing, because the reason why I like the Arctis 3s is because I can wire into my PC with the headset and then Bluetooth connect to it as well to my phone if need be, so I can listen to it simultaneously. As far as surroundings go, you can get sound pads around your microphone so that it doesn't bounce off too much.
Yeah, I have padding pretty much all around me on 3 sides, and it's not behind me.
So that helps with the what you guys were talking about, or what you mentioned earlier about the, all you guys acting rambunctious and loud and the audio peaks. The microphone also, some microphones come with built-in software to help with the peaking, and the shields, or whatever you call these, the spit shields or whatever they used to call them, help with the peaks as well. But that's basically, that's all I use, is the built-in software that's there. Marty, what do you use?
So I've got a Blue Yeti mic that's it looks like a pill.
That's what we used in New York, right?
Yeah, that was Justin's.
Justin brought his.
And this one came with an adjustable arm, which clamps onto the other side of my desk, behind my monitor that I'm looking at right now.
So he's got a boomstick.
It comes over. Yeah.
Mic.
So let's see here. There
it is.
Yeah. So it hangs over the desk while we record.
Yeah.
And these
my mic's also
headphones
hanging right here.
These are just JVC headphones that I picked up from Walmart when my last ones disintegrated. Like the cups literally, the ear cups literally fell apart as I pulled them off one night after a podcast. These cost about $14.95. So I do have some SteelSeries headphones that I use when these are the Arctis. I think these are the 7s. That I use these when I do video recording, like when I do a preview or let's play for the show, or when I do Extra Life. I use these unless we're in a room with a lot of different people, and then it's back to the Blue mic. But I also have a Logitech HD webcam that's perched on top of I have a laptop here and a bigger monitor that I have as a second screen. And I just throw everything over to that and let the laptop run everything. But for video recording, it's OBS. And since I'm on a Mac, I have to do several different things. Like there's an AverMedia adjustment tool that I had to go download and find that will adjust the volume of the mic and everything in there, because OBS doesn't work on the Mac just like it does. It's getting closer, but there's some things that it doesn't do, especially when we do Extra Life, like if Justin and I are playing Fortnite and I want to capture his audio, like he's talking and I want to hear him and be able to talk and do all that. There's programs that I've had to find and download and purchase that are, one of them is Loopback. That is, I had to figure out how to use.
Oh yeah. So you're learning the ways of the wizard as well.
It was trial and error. So, Jesse, why don't you talk about setting up there in New York and how that was?
Yeah. Well, but before we do, Mecca asked a question. Is it good to use wired headset or wireless? I would prefer wired, just because with wireless you can risk adding latency, and if you have, it adds a little bit of latency going to an HDMI TV anyway. But if that latency of the TV doesn't match the latency of your headset, it's going to give you a headache. It's going to probably make you nauseous. It's kind of
cause all kinds of problems.
Yeah. So the setup we had at New York was pretty much almost identical to what I have here in front of me, except for the complicated soundboard. It was I didn't have the soundboard, but I brought my Steam Deck and had different OBS scenes programmed in. That's how, if you watched our live stream, you saw us changing whose hospital we were focusing on for that segment. That was how we done it. Yeah, except for everything is configured through my laptop instead of my desktop, which I wasn't bringing this thing. This thing's heavy.
Be hard to ship.
Yeah.
Or get on a plane.
But yeah, well, pretty much the way I had the dock connecting to my Elgato, connecting to the PC, it's pretty much exactly the way I have it here.
Yeah, streaming the games and connecting the games, they've made it easier over the years, so we're thankful for that. It was mainly just getting the audio in from our mic and into the stream and all that kind of stuff that Jesse normally controls from his PC to control via the laptop, which he was able to use his wizarding skills and be able to do so. But great question. I know that's a lot into the weeds for a lot of our listeners, but that was a great question from DeFunci. And hopefully that helps him. And
we did get a lot of compliments from the other people who was there, seeing our setup and how we got it to work. And
yes,
I was happy.
It was amazing. And probably you could do like a podcast, podcaster to podcaster training, and so people can mimic it and kind of lighten their load if they needed to, if they're traveling podcaster,
or teach us something that we don't know about.
Right, exactly.
Everybody's setup seems to be different, except when it comes down to the OBS part. You pretty much gotta have that to stream. Yep. Well, guys, that has been episode 404 of Nintendo Dads. We want to thank you for hanging out with us through all of this talk about Nintendo and ourselves and podcasting and game releases and Pokemon and all that great stuff. We are, if we don't say it enough, we're so appreciative of you. We're so appreciative of our community, our listeners, our Patreon folks, our Twitch Prime subscribers, and each and every one of you who help make Nintendo Dads what it is. And so as we close out the show, we want to say thank you to our Patreon producers, Dave Ernsberger, RJ Kern, and Skinny Matt. We want to thank you guys for hanging in there at the Patreon producer level. And we want to say thank you to each and every one of our patrons as well, whether you're a $30 Patreon producer or you're $1 a month subscriber. We are so thankful for each and every one of you and you being part of our community. Also, thanks to everybody following us over on YouTube, over 6,500 subscribers. And we are 9 away, guys, 9 away from crossing the 1,400 subscriber mark on Twitch. But we do want to say thanks to our 18 Twitch subscribers, Twitch Prime subscribers, who also get access to our Discord community and activities just like Patreon subscribers do. So thank you to each and every one of you. You can get $20 off your Manscaped order and free shipping with the code NINDADS. That's NINDADS. And also head on over to our merch store, nintendodads.org/merch. You can get your 400 episode t-shirt. You can get, the avatar shirts and all kinds of other stuff. All of our different little guys. And there's just all kinds of neat stuff. Stickers over nintendodads.org/merch. Every purchase helps us as well. Puts a little, gets you a cool shirt, gets you a cool sticker or whatever. Puts a little coin in our pocket as well, so we can do cool things like go to New York. A reminder, check out our website, nintendodads.org. All of our YouTube videos, tweets, podcast episodes, links to social media, and all kinds of things are there. You can also find us in most places on social media simply just by typing in Nintendo Dads. Or you can email us at nintendodads@gmail.com, or you could call in and leave a voicemail at 929-25-NDADS. It's 929-256-3237. Big thanks to OC Remix and the Pokemon Choir for the music used throughout the show. And reminder, wherever you download us, wherever you listen to this audio version of the podcast, your app of choice, your service of choice, be sure to go give us a 5-star review and write some nice words there to help people find the show. For me, for Tim, for Jesse, this has been episode 404. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Check you later.
Thank you for listening to Nintendo Dads.
I don't know what animal this is or what Pokemon this is.
Nintendo Dads Podcast.